Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Oh, for the love of... Josh?
Hello.
Is this real life?
It is real life.
This is real life. We sure do appreciate you this morning.
Oh, no. This
and
is
every
real.
morning. What happened?
Oh, man. This is real life. This is so much worse than I had hoped it would be.
You didn't think it was... But it is real. You didn't think it. I don't blame you. What's going on? Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. And it's Thursday now. We've gotten all the way up to Thursday. Well, yesterday was pretty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I loved it. I love the rain.
Like a cow pissing on a flat rock. That's what kept going through my brain yesterday. We're supposed to get more of the same today. Let's pounce on this right away before it gets away from us or something goes haywire. We got a party planned for tomorrow night, a boat party, and we need to sign a few more of you bastards up for it. By damn, King Cuck over there, Josh, he has demanded, he has hereby proclaimed that we need a larger crowd on the boat. So here's what you got to do. Right now in the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text the keyword NIGHT, N-I-G-H-T, to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to our Independence Day booze cruise tomorrow night on the St. Croix. Thank you to Stillwater Riverboats, Warner's Dock, Red Wing Shoes. The keyword again is NIGHT, and the number is 651-989-9393. And this should produce a few qualifiers, should it not, King Cuck?
Yeah, each keyword now, it's not just one winner, there's several winners. Between on air and the podcast.
We're loading it up. We've had a little bit of this and that go wrong the last 2 days. So I wanted to get on it right away so we don't miss an opportunity to load a few more people on that pig.
I see why there's confusion. The keyword is night, N-I-G-H-T, not like a king's night. That's how it's being spelled here via text. So N-I-G-H-T, that's the one you want to text.
Right.
651-989-9393.
Right.
Oh.
Beer drinking.
Jeez.
What happened?
It's a lot of the wrong word.
It's another one of those movie trailers with the wrong spelling. Hopefully, there's a little bit of a delay. Once that gets out there, I'm sure this will stop.
Jaw-jacking. Music. There will be music. Dancing. Some folks just get up out of their chairs and dance. And that's all right. Can a guy smoke a cigarette on the boat? I can't remember. I don't smoke
There's
cigarettes.
a spot for it.
Is there a designated smoking area?
Yes.
Is that where the cool people hang out?
Oh, yeah.
People trade dirty jokes back and forth. What else do we do on the boat? People watching. I like to just look at the crowd. Sometimes, Josh, I enjoy looking off the side of the boat to see who else is out there.
Yeah, you'll see. I mean, it's changed over the years. Back in the day, you might see a personal watercraft pull up next to us with a blonde on the back, lifting up her shirt. Nowadays, I've noticed on the shore, it's a lot of guys with pale backsides that bend over and moon us the last few years.
Yeah, it's been a lot of...
Times have changed.
There's fishermen out there sometimes.
Oh, yeah, you'll see that.
I can never look at that stuff because I get really bad motion sickness if I look at the water for a second.
You know, in the 25 or so years we've been putting this party on, Ashley, you're certainly going to make history for being the most pregnant person we've ever hosted on the boat.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we have...
Hopefully I stay pregnant.
You're afraid like the motion's going to...
Oh, boy.
If you give birth on that boat, I will give you $100.
I'll donate as well.
That would be crazy.
I never thought of that.
I'm going to open up a 529 plan for my nephew. If you give birth on that boat.
Hey, well, I just found out yesterday that he'd be all right if I gave birth today. He's a big boy.
He's ready already?
He's a very big boy.
The fatter the baby, the better.
I never thought of that. Yeah, hopefully you stay pregnant through the duration of this party.
It's 3 hours. A lot can happen in 3 hours.
Oh, you're not kidding, because there's some ladies that have, they boarded the boat not pregnant, and they left pregnant.
Right.
Back in the day when it was a little more wild.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're going to be certainly the most pregnant guest we've ever had. And we hope it stays that way. In the future, do you ever consider this, Josh? In the future, if we have another one of these boat parties, well, I mean, I think we're going to have one in the fall also. But here's something for a couple years down the road if we're all still here. Do you like this idea, Cubby? We have another one of these big boat parties, and nobody on the boat knows how to swim.
Sure.
Doesn't that sound kind of fun?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, just a little more risky. Folks that are afraid to go on a boat too, or just
I didn't think of it. But maybe we should take it up a notch. Maybe
because you and I don't know how to swim.
We don't?
I thought you'd said before you don't know how to swim.
Oh, I'm not a very good swimmer,
yeah.
but
that's what I mean too. I can float for a while.
I mean, if I fell off the boat tomorrow night, even at my age, I'm pretty confident I could reach shore. I
don't know. Though that water's different because of all the, what do they call it, like undertow? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know if I'd even have a good chance in that.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, fine. Maybe if it was a lake as opposed to a river.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. There's currents and all that. Maybe I would drop to the bottom like a stone. If it was a lake, like if you dropped me in the middle of Wayzata Bay, maybe that not enough people can relate to that. You drop me in the middle of a lake, I'm fairly confident that I could reach shore.
In the middle of one?
Yeah. I'm confident if I get on my back and kick, I could get there.
Get on your back. That's smart.
Right. But no, I am not a skilled swimmer. But like you were saying, maybe we should take it up a notch. Maybe I thought it would be dramatic enough just to have a boat full of people who can't swim. Maybe it should be a boat full of people who are scared of boats.
Like a therapy session in a way.
I mean, sure, you can look at it as therapy. I'm looking at it as a possibility for great comedy and torture, yeah.
Everyone's so stressed out.
All right, yeah. Everybody having fun tonight? No.
Nobody.
This is terrifying.
Nobody leaves their chair.
I hate this.
Yeah, nobody's ordering drinks. No. They're afraid to eat. They're afraid to move.
What was that? What was that sound?
Yeah,
Why are we moving so fast?
Right.
Ask me about CrossFit Jesus on the topic of you possibly giving birth on the boat, Ashley. If you give birth on the boat, are you willing to name your baby Bodie McBoatface?
That's the whole first name?
Bodie McBoatface.
It sounds perfect.
Yeah. Tomorrow night. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I just like to just kind of take a look off the side of the boat, see who's out there fishing and whatnot, you know.
Well, that thing's so big, it doesn't move very much. So sometimes if you're not really paying attention, you can't tell you're on a boat. So I like to look out there, too, just for the ambiance.
Sometimes I'll even ask these boys who are out fishing, I'll ask them, are they biting? And usually I just get kind of a dirty look because our big fat tub that's rolling by is usually disturbing them and the fish.
Yeah.
So they don't usually answer that question. Are they biting? I don't know. Don't they do that with airplanes once in a while? Don't they load up an airplane with people who have a fear of flying to try to get them over the fear? I thought I had heard that Summers.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like an immersive therapy session?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, I guess.
Would you want to be the pilot of that plane? I would not.
Yeah, I could see that going a couple of ways. They might look at you like you're a hero, even if you're the most basic pilot in the world because you got them there safely, or they're going to be dealing with a lot of upset people.
I thought they had done that with airplanes. I wonder how many of our listeners just straight up can't swim at all. I mean, They could panic, and that's about it. 651-989-9393 if you can't swim a lick. And tell us why. How did it turn out that way?
My mom is terrified of swimming.
She won't swim?
No, she won't get into the water.
Why won't she swim?
Because her uncle was in charge of giving her swimming lessons, and so he got her in a canoe, put her in the middle of a lake in Iowa, and threw her out of the canoe when she was a very little girl.
That's how some
she's been
folks do
terrified
it.
Ever since.
Yeah, that's how some folks do it, usually with their dogs, not with human beings. So he just dumped her in the water, it freaked her out.
And that was it.
And she can't get over it.
I think I learned how to be a good swimmer because my brother, all of my older brothers, would try to drown me all the time. And so it makes you a stronger swimmer when your life is in danger.
Here we go. Vertically challenged Jesus says, can't swim, never learned. I would drown.
I had one swimming lesson I mentioned before. It was at Lake Harriet, and speaking of drowning, they thought somebody drowned, and they had to put a human chain out there to search for the person. And I thought, well, this is a wonderful first experience.
You were freaked out.
A little bit. I mean, I was young enough where the idea of a dead body scared the heck out of me, but that's the only swimming lesson I had.
It's just kind of interesting to me. Medical device Jesus can't swim at all. He says, I have super dense bones. I sink. I can't even tread water. It's just interesting to me here in Minnesota, where so many of us live near a lake or can get to a lake or have a cabin on a lake. You know, we're the land of, a handful of lakes, whatever the number is. It's interesting to me that that there are folks out there who just never spent any time around water. We were always at the lake or going fishing or something like that.
Medical device Jesus, I mean, really, if he just laid down in a pool, it would take him 3 strokes to get to the other side. He's so tall. I'm kind of surprised he can't swim.
He's tall. Yeah. You'd think I'd be a better swimmer because of all the time that we spent on or in the lake, but I just never really got terrific at it. Like I said, even to this day, I'm fairly sure that I could make it to shore. I mean, Lake of the Woods, Mille Lacs, one of those ridiculous bodies of water. No, but you're a normal-sized body of water. I think I could make her.
Steelers fan Jesus says he has an irrational fear of bees. When he was young, his dad took him into the woods and threw him into a beehive.
What are you?
What? Joking.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've heard terrible stories before.
Son, I'm going to teach you not to be afraid of bees.
Rock washer Jesus can't swim. He would sink like a rock, and he's gone through the ice twice.
Oh, that would terrify me.
God dang.
I mean, it would take me a while if you dropped me in the middle of the lake. I don't think I'd drown. It'd take me a while to get to shore, but falling under the ice, that is a fear of mine for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between falling through it and falling under it.
Well, okay, what's the difference?
Well, falling through it, you're still flopping around in the water. Falling under it, you're under it.
Yeah, you're SOL. Have fun trying to find your way out.
I'm picturing the same thing.
Like the old Metallica song, Trapped Under Ice.
Oh, I watch some of those videos sometimes because there's people out there who, for some reason, like to drill like 2 holes into a lake and then swim from one hole to the other opening.
Oh, God, no.
And that's so terrifying.
Mouse and Cheese's Jesus can't swim. That's really interesting to me. But I mean, everyone's raised a little bit different. I remember as a very, very young kid going fishing with the old man, and he liked to do the right thing and confuse and terrorize the children. And one of the things he told my brother and I when we first got in the fishing boat with him, little 16-foot Lund, 10 horse on the back maybe, he convinced us that if the motor's running, we stay afloat. If the motor quits, we sink.
That's good.
I didn't need to friggin' hear that. I didn't need to hear that. Because as soon as he killed the friggin' outboard, I was just scrambling for a way out. You know what I mean? He was good like that. What else is going on around here? Oh, our guest later, Dr. Andrea. Dr. Andrea Johnston from Gurman Animal Hospital, a professional veterinarian, will be in studio, and she'll answer questions that you might have about your pets. We haven't seen Dr. Andrea in a while. we always have a lot of laughs with her. I was just reading stories of people who do, is it tarot cards? Is that how you say it?
Tarot card readings.
People who do tarot card readings with their pets. Some folks are a little too dialed in to their pets. No offense, Ashley.
Oh, you're all good. I did think this was pretty fun. I was like, maybe I should learn to read tarot cards.
You'd be interested in tarot card readings with your pets.
Are you into it for yourself?
No, I never really got into it. I've had my cards read before, and I thought it was pretty neat, but nothing really past that.
Who is this? A listener named Jessica texted in, said she learned how to swim as a little girl growing up in Alabama. Tibbs Jesus says he can barely swim. Yeah, a lot of yous would be effed out there on the boat. Anyway, back to Dr. Andrea. She'll be here around 8:20, and we will we'll solve some problems out there. Tarot card readings with your pets. I'm not sure what they're doing here. They say it's all about connecting more deeply with your animal companion. I don't know. I don't look at this as something that's very necessary.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I mean, you and your dog aren't going to talk about the results of the reading at any point. So I don't really get what's going on here.
But what if you gave them a reading and it was just like the death cards? It's all so sad and terrible.
Well, I mean, there's always a chance that's going to happen. It's a way to tune into your pet's energy.
I'm not taking that risk.
And better understand their needs. Oh, I understand her needs. She's pretty clear about it.
Yeah.
Well, imagine this. You go to a dog trainer, and they're like, all right, the first thing we're going to do is a tarot card reading. Would that be the first and only time you go to that dog trainer?
Yep.
Yes.
I'd be concerned, very concerned.
We're going to tap into your dog's energy. That's really going to make a difference.
Yeah, people are squirrely like that. Oh, wow. A listener out there by the name of Perry Saturn Jesus. I've heard of him before. He holds a high school record in swimming.
That's really cool.
My wife was a swimmer in high school.
Buddy of mine was. He swam, competitively after high school, too. Tried out for the Olympics, didn't make it, but he was very good.
I always heard from parents that is the... like, you dread your child choosing swimming as a sport because I heard it's really boring to watch because it's just like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
I guess I'd have to ask my wife. I mean, I don't think her folks came to a lot of her swim meets. I think in my wife's family, once you hit about 12, you were on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you signed up for swimming or basketball or whatever, oh, you got a game tonight? Cool, good luck. I think that was kind of the vibe. So I don't know if her folks showed up for a lot of it. So I can see how it would be boring.
And actually, the friend I was just telling you about, the swimmer, he's the guy that came up with the idea for our booze cruise, now that I think about it.
Came up with the idea?
Yeah, we were on the Mississippi, and he's like, you guys should do like a big boat cruise through your radio station.
No way.
Yeah, that was, now that I think about it, he was the guy that came up with it.
Well, I'll tell you what. And then you went to the boss and said we should have a boat party?
Yeah.
Well, F me running. Mark, this is Magic Playing Machinist Jesus. Terrified of moving water. Okay, he says the main reason why I've never taken an interest in any of your booze cruises is I'm terrified of moving water. Okay.
Well, that does make a difference. I mean,
yeah.
The first time I was in the ocean, I regretted it.
What did it do to you?
Well, just with the waves. I'm kind of like, okay, I get it. Trying to catch a breath in between going out in there. Getting pummeled, and it just keeps coming. I felt like I was being waterboarded.
Did it turn a player upside down?
Oh, man, yeah.
Enough.
And nobody told me about that. I should have been smart enough to understand. I was 20. I should have been smart enough to know it on my own. But, yeah, I just kept kicking my butt.
Some folks in our listening audience are texting in because they want water. One wire nut Jesus. Back to who can swim, who can't out there, and any other information you might want to give us. Oh, what the hell are you talking about? I was about ready to read a terrible text. It started off so well. He was talking about his sisters torturing him told him that they were mermaids, and then I'm not reading the rest of it.
Oh, yeah, that did end differently than one might expect.
Yeah, you saw it too,
Yeah.
didn't you? All right, what else is going on? Dr. Andrea will be here, and tomorrow night's the big friggin' party. How you doing, Dana?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
A few people are saying, is Dana there this morning?
You haven't made a sound yet.
Yeah, we got some behind-the-scenes things I won't bore the people with, but it looks like we're about as sorted as we could possibly be right now. So
Are you going to make it?
I think so.
Oh, Kyle says he was the fastest swimmer 9 months before he was born.
Duh! A friend of mine had a great joke. What were you saying earlier about, years ago, there might have been a few babies created on our booze cruise, on the spot.
I know for sure of one, and I've, heard rumors of others.
You know for sure that one baby out there, how old would this child be?
20s at this point.
You know for sure it was conceived on our boat party.
We had the couple let us know.
They did?
Yep. And they were together. It wasn't like they just met and consummated the relationship on the boat. They were boyfriend, girlfriend that got a little amorous. A
friend of mine knocked it out of the park at his folks. Boy, I think it was their 50th wedding anniversary. A big party for his folks on their 50th wedding anniversary. And my pal, the oldest of this couple's children, got up to speak in front of the crowd. Big party. And the true story is his folks met at a house party, I think right here at the University of Minnesota 50-some years ago. His folks met at a house party. They had a one-night stand, and they're still together to this day.
That's beautiful.
Well, I guess I shouldn't call it a one-night stand because it went on for years. What do you want to call that? It meant to be a one-night stand. It was you met them and you banged them, whatever that is. And so my pal was up there. He tells the crowd this story. He says, if you don't know, my folks met at a house party, University of Minnesota, 51 years ago or whatever, and I was the result of that party. And it's a true story. He was. And so he wrapped up the story by saying, I'm in the unique position, or I can't remember how he set it up, something along the lines of, I came to the party with my dad and I left with my mom. I thought that was a good line. Just a random hookup is what I'm going for. It was a random hookup that now, still after 50 friggin' years, man, there must not have been a lot to choose from back then at the U of M. I don't know. Random hookup that's still a thing now 50 years ago.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. All right. Minnesota Moses knows a thing or two about swim meets, we were saying. Ashley, I think, were you the one that said a lot of parents don't want their kids to get into swimming because it's kind of boring to watch?
Yep.
Sure. Minnesota Moses says that swim meets are hot and loud.
Oh, I bet it's so hot.
It's hot in there.
That's the thing I remember going to swim meets is just the heat in there, and you're sitting up in that little box type thing. Just nasty up there.
I don't know. What's the box type thing?
Like the viewing deck type situation.
Well, yeah. At our school, we just had 4 or 5 rows of rusty bleachers.
Oh, you just stood poolside?
Yeah, poolside.
Okay.
They elevated you at
they had a little
Yep.
observation deck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the swimming pool was always just... the swimming pool was kind of like the weather we had last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You walk in, it's just soaking wet and hotter than hell. All right, we'll get going for real. Dr. Andrea around 8:20. Randy Shaver will join us at 7:30. When we come back, we'll do the stupid news right here on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I am Tom Welling.
Welcome to Talkville,
where it's fun to talk about Smallville.
We're going to be talking to sometimes guest stars. Are you liking the direction Lois is going in?
Yeah, because I'm getting more screen time.
It's good. But mostly it's just me and Tom remembering.
I think we all feel like there was a scene missing here.
You got me, Tom.
Let's revisit it. Let's look at it. See what we remember.
See what we remember.
I had never been around anything like that before. I mean, it was so fun.
Talkville. Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Let's get into it.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
We're getting there now. Just got a text message. Came in from, we heard from this sumbitch earlier already. Magic Machinist Jesus, I think is the name. He says today is his ultimate F-off day. When he leaves work today, he's not coming back until Tuesday, the 8th of July.
Dang. Dude, awesome. Enjoy.
He told them that his boss agreed that he can take time off when this morning show takes time off. So he says, please take more time off.
Oh, we have to for him then.
Well, in that case, I don't want to ruin it for him. I don't want to tell his boss that he should be back on the 7th. If that's the case, that's when we'll be back.
We're back on the 7th?
We're back on the 7th.
After tomorrow?
After tomorrow, correct.
Tomorrow's our ultimate F-off day. Big old boat party tomorrow night. We were talking about it. We were rapping about who can swim and who can't. You know, just in case something happens on the boat. I'm surprised the amount of our listeners who cannot swim at all. Very interesting to me. A couple of text messages came in on the topic. One feller out there said, I had many near drownings at the hands of my family members who thought they were, quote, teaching me how to swim. I'm traumatized by it, but I will be taking swim lessons soon. I'm 34 years old. What the F was going on there? Were they holding your head under the water while you clawed at their arms? I mean, what are you talking about? What happened? Who was saying earlier they just got thrown into the water?
My mom did, by her uncle.
Your mother.
Yeah, my brothers did the same thing. It was not fun. It didn't traumatize me, but I just didn't enjoy swimming with them.
How old were you think?
Oh, honestly, it was like my whole childhood. But I think when I got thrown into the pool, it's probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think my mom said she was 4 or 5.
That's what I remember. I remember the campground, everything. You know, I was a little too shy and scared to jump into a lake as a 5-year-old kid.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But my folks, we were at a campground somewheres that had a pool. And I remember very vividly standing at the side of the pool wondering, okay, can I do this? And then my dad just pushed me in. I mean, there's got to be something else going on with this guy who said many near drownings. Holy balls. All right, I also received this text message. It is interesting to me, especially in this area, that there be folks out there who just never swum. With all the lakes, and like I said earlier, I mean, that's kind of what we do around here. But everybody's different, I get it. But here's a text that says, I have a 90-year-old fishing partner. He was in the Navy for 20 years. He never learned to swim. He said he figured he'd just go down with the ship. Come on now, he's effing with you.
That's got to be like a requirement now.
Well, I don't know. I've got a lot of Navy in my family, and a couple of them can't swim. One of them was even on a submarine, so he's even under the water. Something goes wrong. I don't know. That's terrifying to me. He has no idea how to swim. You've seen him, Nick. He doesn't necessarily have a swimmer's physique. He might have some trouble.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Kind of surprised me they don't make you pass just like a basic swim test or something.
Right?
Can you go the length of the pool?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At least be able to tread water for longer than a minute or something.
Like we had to prove in middle school that we could swim in the deep end.
Right.
And middle school is a lot different than the Navy.
Well, I can tell you this. There's no danger of him going into the Navy SEALs.
Okay, I guess.
So our country is safe. They're going to keep him out of that.
That's really, yeah. I mean, sometimes, old guys will tell you stories, Here's a 90-year-old guy saying, I was in the Navy for 20 years and I never learned to swim. I'm wondering if that's one of those old guys stories. I mean, my dad used to tell people that he played the piano in the marching band. Old guys tell stories. That brings up a funny moment. Fishing many years ago. And one of the guys in our fishing group was an old Vietnam vet. And, he was, as they said, in the back when he was in Vietnam. And his particular gig was transporting supplies. So he'd be driving the big old Jeep, towing weapons, food, whatever it might be, and he had to make his way through some of the worst scenes. Bullets flying, just madness, right? Years ago, we go on this fishing trip, and the old Vietnam vet, we'll call him Donnie, Donnie's attempting to back a boat into the water, and he can't get it right. He can't get it right. Like 20 tries, he gets all sideways, he starts over again. He gets all sideways, he starts over again. And somebody in the crew said, for Christ's sake, Donnie, isn't this what you did in Vietnam? And he said, I was 19 years old. I was afraid for my life. Get off my ass.
A Navy vet has texted in, said you had to be able to swim a little bit to get through boot camp, but you didn't have to be proficient.
Wow. All right. That's something. All right, stupid news. By God, we hear all kinds of stories, don't we? They say the sun can kill you dead. So I've heard those stories. So when I go, like, say, for example, out on a boat ride, I try to protect myself, Cubby, with that 50 grit sunblock.
Yeah, you go for it.
Because they say the sun will kill you dead. I guess the gist of this year's story is that too much of anything can lead to terrible results. It says here now, a Chinese lady came down with a severe vitamin D deficiency. Don't. I see you're reaching for your keyboard to make a vitamin D joke. Don't. Not now.
I wrote a vitamin D joke.
Had you written some down?
Yeah. God dang it.
Chinese lady came down with a severe vitamin D deficiency. And they say that situation was caused by excessive sunscreen use, sunblock. I haven't heard of that one yet. So let me see if I get this straight.
How much sunblock is she putting on?
Yeah. Is she just like covering herself in paint?
Wow.
I don't know.
Jumps in a tub of it.
I got to put on this nice eggshell coat here real quick.
And like how, I imagine she's making sure she hits every spot then.
See here, right here, Minneapolis Dan Jesus says, my wife has a vitamin D deficiency. I told you, no jokes.
Yeah, some are coming in.
I'm kidding. He might be serious, actually. I think he's just being honest right there. Sorry to hear about your wife's vitamin D deficiency.
No, I'm rarely outdoors, but I don't wear sunscreen. I just hate the feeling of any lotions or anything on. But,
yeah, you're weird like that.
But if I might if I was sitting in the middle of a lake somewhere on a boat.
You might want to.
But very rarely.
To avoid the pain the following day.
Yeah, I'd much rather wear long sleeves and a hat and whatnot.
Oh, God.
I was never a sunscreen person until actually like this year. I thought, all right, it's time. I don't need all the messed up skin from being in the sun too long. I've damaged my skin enough.
I was going to say, you've told us stories about you laying out coated in vegetable oil, just cooking.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how my wife is. I try to get her to stop doing that kind of stuff.
So here we go again. This lady has developed a severe vitamin D deficiency from too much sunscreen. The gal apparently wore so much of that stuff that it weakened her bones. She became so fragile that the other night she was just rolling over in her bed and her bones started snapping like she was in a car wreck.
Oh my gosh.
She heard some popping and cracking and this and that, and as God is my witness, she was broken in half.
Oh, the pain. No.
48-year-old gal. She is. Now, according to her doctor, a lucky feller with the name of Dr. Long Schwang. The gal's vitamin D levels, he said, were so low it had caused her to go ahead with what they call here severe osteoporosis. Vitamin D levels were so low, she caught osteoporosis. They asked her a few more questions, the doctors did, as they were pasting her back together in the, the hospital. She told them she had gone out of her way to avoid sunlight since she was just a young kid. Cubby, tell them what you thought the sun was up until a few years ago.
A monster.
For years, he thought the sun was a monster. And he was afraid to come out of doors. Ever since she was a little kid, she went out of her way to avoid all sunlight. She rarely ever wore short-sleeved shirts. She always dumped the sunscreen on double thick whenever she went out of doors.
Osteoporosis at 48 years old. That's got to be a medical mystery right there. I suppose they've solved the mystery, but I bet that's very uncommon.
Is that something that usually happens to the elderly?
I always picture old folks when they say osteoporosis.
Yeah, me too.
You always see commercials for it during the daytime when old people are watching TV.
Yep.
Now, good point. Nick, your sister, Hubba, is a redhead.
Word?
Red Butcher Jesus said that as a redhead, I produce more vitamin D than most naturally, so the sun is not a necessity for me.
So I saw that and I looked it up, and it actually seems like it's the opposite. It says they can't absorb a sufficient amount of vitamin D.
So he's been living a lie?
At least that's what Dr. Google says. Don't quote me on that.
Nick's sister, Hubba, right, though? Right?
Hubba, yeah. Google said yes.
I don't follow these things. That's very interesting, one way or the other.
So that woman had a vitamin deficiency. I once had the opposite problem. At the beginning of COVID, I was getting these awful stomach aches, and I couldn't figure out why. So I had one of those virtual doctor visits, and he's asking me these questions. He says, "Have you changed your diet at all?" No, this and that. And then he goes, "Can you think of anything?" And I go, "Well, I've been having a lot of those emergency little orange fizzy packets, because I'm still going into work. I'm wanting to try and make sure my immune system's up." And he goes, "Well, how often are you taking those?" I'm like, 5, 6, 7 of them. He's like, "A week?" I go, "No, a day."
Dude.
Are you kidding me?
What were you doing? It says it on there.
I was panicking, actually.
That is so funny to me.
It was a stressful time in my life. The doctor, he let me have it, too. He goes, "You are an idiot." Not quite saying an idiot, but he goes, "That is so unhealthy." And he goes, "And to be honest, those things don't do anything anyway."
So expensive, too, Dana.
I was like, "Just stop with that."
So you were basically an orange with jean shorts on as you walked around town.
I was overdosing on vitamin C.
You were just an orange wearing a headband and jean shorts.
Right.
Yeah, back then you were wearing the headband.
Mm-hmm. So doctors all over town, ever since this story broke, and I'm not trying to be cute with that, ever since this story cut loose of this lady rolling over in bed and her bones snapping from her vitamin D deficiency, doctors all over town are saying that sunscreen enthusiasts should be careful with that splooge. They say it could be messing with your bone health. Never in a million years would I have guessed this was a real thing.
No, not at all.
Says here, although sunscreen will decrease the risks of skin cancer and this and that, some people overdo it, and they open themselves up to other issues. Sunlight is essential for bone health. Avoiding exposure to sunlight for long periods of time can F up your bone vibe. You got to have a good bone vibe. And this gal had been ducking away from the sun since she was a friggin' toddler, and she's 48. And the story mentions that Chinese women are obsessed with having fair skin or foreskin. No, fair skin.
I hope so.
And we've heard that before. They don't like...
Yeah, a couple of people text that in, but that's part of their culture. And Dr. Google, people are sending screenshots that say, yes, redheads generally produce more vitamin D than people with other hair colors. So they are producing it.
Hell, I don't know how any of that
So Red
works.
Butcher Jesus is not living a lie.
Good. I felt really bad.
I am just thrown by all of it.
Is it possible, Dana, your headband was just too tight and you couldn't think straight? A listener wants to know.
That could have been it.
Maybe
Yeah.
that was part of your decision-making?
I suck down that emergency now and again in the winter time when maybe one of you slobs is coughing and sneezing all over the building, and maybe it's just in my head, but I always thought the stuff did work.
I was going to ask if it does. I mean, I do the same. If somebody
I think it does.
sniffles around here, I'll do it just in case.
I think that it does, Josh.
My doctor was...
Is that Rizite?
Yeah.
My doctor was the same as you, Dana, because I mentioned, like, oh, should I be drinking those? Will that help? And they were like, or you could just drink some orange juice.
Yeah, but I don't. I've told you before, Ashley. I love orange juice. I just don't know where I'm going to put all the diarrhea.
Oh, yeah, I forgot it does that to you.
Right. Love orange juice. Just not enough places for me to put the diarrhea.
I wonder why is that all citrus that does that to you?
I don't know, Josh, because I've sworn off of
You've avoided
citrusy anything for a good couple of decades now.
I'm a citrus fan. I'm glad that doesn't do that to me.
For many years, I would go into Sunsets in Wayzata for breakfast on Saturday mornings, and I'd get their big breakfast burrito, and it was just delicious. And then I'd order a screwdriver, and then I'd have to race every other male in the building. I'd have to race them for the bathroom because I would have uncontrollable diarrhea, and I was dumb enough to go, wow, there must be something in that burrito. No, stupid. It's because you're drinking 6 screwdrivers between 9 and 10 a.m.
Yeah.
It's the friggin' orange juice, you idiot, is what I would holler at
Oh,
myself.
that makes my stomach hurt thinking about it.
And there was only one throne in that joint, too. Sometimes I would cause quite a bit of anxiety out in the restaurant because I'd be sitting in there for 35 minutes. And I kept saying, boy, I probably should stop eating this burrito. It wasn't the burrito.
No.
Could it also been like the 30 beers you had the night before?
That didn't help, Dana.
Yeah.
But you know what? I already got a mother.
Sorry.
You know what shocked me is you said you used to order screwdrivers.
Yeah.
I never would have thought I'd hear you say something.
I had a stretch of time there, Cubby, where I thought I should wait on the beer as opposed to having a beer right out of bed.
Sure.
I guess I thought beer was for afternoon. So I had a run there. I had a run there with screwdrivers. It was a couple years, but then, like I said, I learned my lesson. And then I started cracking beers right out of bed, and my health has greatly improved.
Isn't that weird how that works? For some reason, you feel better. Instead of drinking beer, which is only like 3.7% alcohol or whatever, it's healthier and better if I have vodka right away in the morning.
How do I look right now?
You look wonderful.
And I had a couple right out of bed, a couple of Steve Weisers right out of
There
bed
you
before
go.
I even got in the car to come out this way.
That's not true.
Let me tell you a little story about something called the New Zealand Herpes Foundation. First off, your initiation into the club is fun at first. It's fun up to a point. Your initiation into the club. What do I have here? The New Zealand Herpes Foundation. Okay, it's not a club where you all catch herpes. They have a certain goal, and their goal is to destigmatize herpes, if you can follow that. They more or less want folks to know that if you up and catch the herp, it's okay. It happens to a lot of us. It ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string from Herpes King. I'm okay, you're okay kind of a vibe, Josh. Catching herpes ain't the end of the world. That's what they're pressing on you at the New Zealand Herpes Foundation.
Once upon a time, the world wanted to be New Zealand. We had the cup, the clean green image, the Earth's sexiest accent, Everyone wanted a slice of our pie. But now look at us. Our sheep-to-human ratio is embarrassingly low. Our national pride is somewhat less than outstanding. We need something new to be proud of, something big and brave to put us back on the map. It's time for New Zealand to become the best place in the world to have herpes.
That is one of those things where, I mean, aside from the obvious, that would be pretty awful. I mean, you're going to have to tell whatever partner, hey, this is going on, and it doesn't go away.
I almost risked it once.
Oh, yeah. Me and Nick have been there. We've mentioned that a few times before.
I thought of you guys during that moment, too. I was like, huh.
We went through with it. But
I did not.
We started out almost risking it, thinking, well, better not. And then minds do change.
Honestly, I probably would have followed through, but it kind of just fizzled out. The relationship kind of just fizzled.
Well, let me ask you this. When were you told? Was anyone naked?
No, I was told the third date, but I think, stuff was going to kind of happen. Like stuff was going to get hot and heavy. We were at his house. And then he told me before that kind of stuff was going to take place.
Before anyone's clothes came off.
Now that's the difference.
I don't know about that.
So this is interesting. You risked herpes, or pardon me, you almost risked herpes after you started working here. Because Josh and I told our story, and then, okay. So this was in the last 7-8 years that you risked. You almost risked herpes, where Josh and I straight up risked it.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, you guys crossed my mind, and I thought, do I want to join that club?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Smart. Think of us. You're instantly not going to be in the mood. You might make better decisions.
But like Josh said, I suppose we were about your age. And people were already naked when
things were happening at that point.
There was no backing down at that point. So
yeah, that probably would have changed things.
There was a pause, certainly a pause, and you might even call it a pregnant pause. But then everything continued, and he thought, what are the odds?
There was even more of a pause for me when this gal told me who gave her herpes.
Oh.
It's someone that almost, how should I say this, universally known individual. Universally, worldwide.
Would it be kind of an honor to know that you're carrying around this person's herpes?
No, because I'm not a fan. If I was a fan, yes. Like if it was Sly Stallone, I would have said, "Give me that friggin' herpes."
Me too.
Stop taking your medication right now.
If this originally came from Sly, I want it. But this was a universally known person who I'm not a big fan of. But that was when she said, "Hey, before we let her buck, I need to tell you, I have herpes." And there was a pause, like Josh said. And I don't remember I don't think I asked her how. That would have been, who cares, right? Who cares how? But somehow, before our conversation was over, she cut loose with who gave it to her. And that's when I said, really?
Was she saying it kind of like a brag tone? No. Look who I hooked up with.
No. It wasn't bragging.
Okay.
No, it was disgust.
Okay.
And I had to say, that guy? No kidding? And I probably came off kind of like a fanboy there for a minute.
Yeah.
Because this person is so well known. But I'm not a fan of that person. It was a hell of a deal.
I don't know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I don't know about you guys, but I always thought, I learned a lot from that situation because he explained to me, how it spread and how you can, keep it at bay and about how... And then I did some research about how many people actually have herpes and carry herpes. And I learned a lot from that situation.
I'll tell you what, though, Nick. You're right. If it was Sylvester Stallone, I'd say, can we just hold off until you have a flare-up? Let's increase the odds here. I want to have Rambo's herpes.
You're in his DMs hey, I have something you have.
I'm still friends with the young lady. And if you happen to be listening, let me know. Was this famous people herpes that I could have caught? I'd be very interested.
This is easily the most famous of my Eskimo brothers.
That's cool. Does it now? This person doesn't surprise you. I understand celebrities get a lot of action, but if you were going to look at him, would you say, "I bet he's got herpes"?
This famous guy who I'm Eskimo brothers with, he probably got herpes, Josh, before he became famous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's just a guess from his upbringing. From knowing about his upbringing. I bet he had herpes before he became famous.
Were you in the same boat as me, and I'm sure you've told me, but where afterwards you thought, well, what was I doing? I'm such an idiot.
No.
Oh, you weren't?
No.
Oh,
I got to be honest with you, it never crossed my mind again.
Oh, it did?
It never did.
It did me.
Never crossed my mind again. I mean, I think maybe the next day I might have looked at my unit to see if there was any damage, and then I never thought about it again, just because I was a mindless, careless young person.
Yeah. So, me for a couple of weeks, any itch, anything, I thought, oh no.
Okay.
What have I done?
Sure.
Postal mechanic Jesus said he found out after the act is when she told him.
That's not right.
That could be criminal.
I think there's laws against that or some sort.
People are texting in, we're talking about Mike Zimmer. No, not Mike Zimmer. I am Eskimo Brothers with Mike Zimmer, former Vikings coach Mike Zimmer. He's not the guy that dumped herpes on this gal. No.
No, he doesn't have herpes.
And I'm telling you, this guy is...
He has eye herpes. Mike Zimmer.
Jesus.
His eyes falling out of
that guy's eyes, man.
Yeah.
That poor bastard.
No kidding.
No, this guy's 10 times more famous than Mike Zimmer. 20 times more. Tell you what.
What do they call... He said Eskimo brother, which is such a funny term.
Yeah.
What do they call it for ladies? Is it Eskimo sister?
Clam slam.
No, that's...
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I've never even heard it before.
Maybe text us, 651-989-9393. What's the equivalent? What's an Eskimo brother for ladies?
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever had that conversation. So,
sorry.
What, did you find out what it is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Pogo sisters.
That's not bad.
Pogo. You know what's crazy? I've got a computer in front of me, and I never considered just to Google it instead of asking.
You're an old school character. You don't always consider the computer. So because you've both ridden the same pogo stick, you're Pogo sister.
That's funny.
That is awesome. I love it.
Better than Dana at Mario Kart's Jesus, he suggests Escahos.
Hey, that's not bad.
Like that.
Slam Sisters, says Babyface Destroyer Jesus.
I think we go with Pogo.
Yeah,
sisters.
Pogo, that's good.
That's great.
Oh, God.
Tunnel buddies?
I love you guys so much.
Well, I think we dudes would be tunnel buddies. Yeah, right?
Yeah,
right, okay.
More like a guy thing.
Yeah.
That's very good.
All right.
Clam coffin. Whole frog protection, Jesus, you clever bastard.
What's the gimmick? You got to listen to win passes to our booze cruise, right?
Yes.
And we'll have some more opportunities on the podcast. If you're a podcast person, we'll have more opportunities tomorrow.
We could probably just give out that keyword again, because the same keyword is going to work for however many people.
Should I do it again?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, Christ. The keyword is...
Night. Night.
You go ahead, because I threw away all my information.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you. I didn't think we needed either. But I know that the keywords are working this morning for several winners. So NIGHT, that's the keyword.
651, what is the number?
651-989-9393.
Yeah. You will have a crack, you and 3 friends. You'll have a crack at jumping on the boat. The reason I bring up the boat is I'm not going to say this ultra-famous Eskimo brother's name out loud because of the herpes thing. But if you ask me on the boat, I'll tell you.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, we were talking about the New Zealand Herpes Foundation. They're trying to destigmatize herpes. Josh, you might want to play the ad again here in a minute because it's kind of a funny ad. Recently, the New Zealand Herpes Foundation went ahead and created a fake humorous advertisement to advertise their group. And that funny ad ended up winning awards because it was just so damn clever. They put together a video that shows a postcard-style picture of sheep grazing on a field, snow-covered mountains in the background. Overlaying the photo in bold letters, it said, www.thebestplaceintheworldtohaveherpes.com.
Once upon a time, the world wanted to be New Zealand. We had the cup, the clean green image, the Earth's sexiest accent. Everyone wanted a slice of our pie. But now look at us. Our sheep-to-human ratio is embarrassingly low. Our national pride is somewhat less than outstanding. We need something new to be proud of, something big and brave to put us back on the map. It's time for New Zealand to become the best place in the world to have herpes.
I'm not 100% sure where they're going with all that, but just the idea that they're calling New Zealand the best place in the world to get herpes is pretty cute. So, good for them.
Funny.
They make it sound appealing. That guy makes it sound like you want herpes.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that. A couple of people texted in earlier and said, yeah, they've been talked into it. They want herpes now after that guy.
And to be clear, in my case and in Josh's case, neither one of us caught herpes.
No, thankfully.
It's just that we agreed.
We risked it.
To dangle separately with women who told us ahead of time, look, I have this. I'm not currently flaring. I just don't want anyone to be backing away from Josh and I on the boat.
Yeah.
We did not catch herpes in that moment.
Is it bad that there was a point when I was deciding, all right, do I risk it or do I not risk it? I thought, well, it could be good show material.
You know what? Anything bad that happens in my life, it helps. I think that too. Like, wow, this will be a decent story.
We could always use a new story. So there you go. Funny ad. They won awards for it. New Zealand, the best place in the world to have herpes. By damn, according to the New Zealand Herpes Foundation, around 1 in 3, I wonder what the stat is here in the United States of by damn America. In New Zealand, around 1 in 3 sexually active adults has the virus that causes genital herpes, though most have mild or no symptoms. Others, they say, you can see the herpes on them from across the street, but most have mild or no symptoms and can lead ordinary lives. Popular media, misinformation, and New Zealanders' awkwardness talking about sex has led to huge stigmatization for those living normal lives with the herp, they say. So relax, no big deal. You can live with it. We're all okay is the idea they're pushing. Oh. Guess what?
What?
One of our listeners guessed who the famous guy is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, for you artsy...
Really?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Maybe I told the story in the past, and I don't remember that I gave it away in the past. For you artsy-fartsy types, in something called the Netherlands National Museum, they have a new something or another on display. They claim it's a nearly 200-year-old condom. Would you get in line for that, Josh, to get a look at a 200-year-old condom?
Oh, yeah, why not?
Just like the one you had in your back pocket back in high school?
Yeah, that thing lasted a while.
It's still in there, too.
I wanted to use it, just couldn't find any takers.
By damn, you wanted to pull that thing over your little acorn, didn't you? Couldn't find a taker. 200-year-old condom at a museum in the Netherlands. They say it was made back in the year of 1830, and it was made from a sheep's appendix. Oh. Brace yourself, baby. I've got 6 inches of sheep appendix for you. Oh. Oh, man, just think, Josh. Maybe your great-great-grandpa might have pulled something similar over his rod.
God, I hope not.
Before he tossed his side piece down on a hay bale or something.
I'm just picturing, like, the first person that came up with that is they're dissecting an animal. Hey, you know what I'd like to do with that? I'm going to slide that on my penis.
Dude, who was that guy?
I know.
What was wrong with him?
Well, he must have been a charismatic gentleman if other people are like, you know what? That's a great idea. Put that on my penis.
Your great-great-grandpa might have worn a sheep's appendix condom. And then when he was done, he pulled up his trousers and got in a bayonet fight with an Englishman or whatever the hell they were doing. What were they doing back in 1830? Were we still having bayonet fights with the English?
It's pretty popular.
That's probably what your great-grandpa did, great-great-grandpa. The folks at the museum there in the Netherlands say the condom could possibly be a souvenir from an old brothel. That's where Dana and I met.
Yeah, it was. That's right.
It's an old brothel with old ladies in it.
Not a condom in sight.
One of the ladies you used to frequent's like, hey, I'd like you to come over here and meet my son. And then you and Dana.
Oh, God. The condom will be on display for Dutch nerds to get a look at until the end of November, just in case you end up out that way.
Sports. on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Cody Clemens in the air to left center field. Arozarena on the move. Arozarena at the wall. It is gone. A home run. Cody Clemens goes oppo. A 2-out solo blast to left center, and the Twins have a 2-0 lead.
I didn't think that sumbitch was going to get out, Cubby, but there she went.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Cody Clemens,
Maybe
Minnesota
this is
Twins.
just what they needed.
Oh, yeah, I doubt that.
You don't think this will start something?
I hope you're right.
It's good to dream, Josh.
Twins got a win last night. Helping them out, there was Cody Clemens hitting the dong in, what was that, 7th or 8th inning? They won 2-0 over the Seattle Mariners. I don't think they're going to be able to squeeze in their game today, but they're going to try because it's supposed to rain like hell. They'll try.
That's going to be annoying for the Mariners to have to come back in August on a day off, fly back to Minnesota for a game.
Bring their sad asses back here for a game. NBA draft last night will tell you what we know about the kids that the Timberwolves, well, they only selected one so far, the kid that the Timberwolves selected. I'd never heard of 90. I think the only kid I'd heard of was 2 of them last night. It's a different scene now when you watch these drafts. I just don't know who these sumbitches are. And that Cooper Flagg, the number 1 overall pick out of Duke, I saw him interviewed last night. He's got the personality of my left nut.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe he was tired. He's just a kid, too. I don't know why. Ashley, I don't know why you asked me to say that.
I'm sorry.
Kind of mean.
I'm in a mood today.
She's in a bad mood. Before we go, Josh and I were both telling stories earlier. We're not proud of them. But like we discussed, we'll say anything for show material. We'll use any self-deprecating story for show material. Ashley told her story, too.
Yeah.
About herpes.
Everyone's got one.
Ashley almost risked herpes, but she changed her mind at the last minute a number of years ago. Josh and I, when we were young, we went through with it. We were young, and we were paired up with these women.
We almost didn't risk herpes. We just had the opposite of Ashley.
We almost didn't risk it?
Yeah, we almost did not risk it. Instead, we chose to risk it.
We did. Heat of the moment, these women informed us. I got it. I got the herp, but I'm currently not flared up. So we went for it. Woo! And we came away clean as a whistle, didn't we, John?
Yeah, we lucked out.
I mentioned that in that moment, the gal told me I have herpes, and then she told me where she got it from. And that made it even more interesting because this person at the time, and still to this day, is universally known. I mentioned, I'm not going to say it on the air, but if I see you on the boat tomorrow night, I'll tell you. I will. Had someone text in and make a guess. You can always get a hold of us, 651-989-9393. This person texted in to say, this famous person, is their first name Lil? No.
That could be a couple, right?
Yeah, good.
Well, you got your Lil Wayne and your Lil Bow Wow. Maybe that's where the list ends. But no, this individual's first name was not Lil.
Lil Durk.
I don't know Lil Durk.
Here's an article with 33 rappers who have Lil in their name.
33?
Gosh, be more original.
Wow.
Lil Baby.
Lil
Kim.
Oh, yeah.
Lil John.
John
I think
Ski.
Little John, though.
I don't know.
I can't keep
some
straight.
of these.
Keep going. I want to hear all 33.
Okay, Lil Nas X.
Oh, yeah.
Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Yachty. Lil Tika. Lil TJ. Lil Mosey. Lil Keed.
A little bit of Angela in my life. A little bit of...
Mamba number 5.
That's right.
That
Mamba
tune
number.
is kind of catchy.
It's just a hell of a damn deal. I had no idea there were so many of these some bitches by the name of Lil.
That's how I know what not to listen to. Except for Lil Wayne. He's the only exception. I feel like he's the OG. But usually if a rapper has the name Lil in it, I'm like, that's not for me.
Remember Lil Romeo, Nick?
Oh.
It rings a bell.
Whoa.
Like Master P. He was like Master P's protege.
I do not remember.
That sounds so familiar.
Protege.
Do not remember Lil Romeo.
Lil Scrappy.
No, I don't know Lil Scrappy. Fat Bulldog Jesus texted in to guess who my Eskimo brother is. His guess is, was he once known as a symbol? No. No, never known as a symbol. We got to get going again. Josh's news is coming up next.
Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text the word RUM, R-U-M, to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the 93X Hams Booze Cruise this Friday on Stillwater Riverboats. Prize provided by Warner's Dock and Red Wing Shoes. This contest keyword is good through Thursday, June 26th at 11:59 p.m.
93X
Half-assed morning show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back.
I think the boundaries are getting a little unboundaried, but that's fine.
From relationships,
It's grabbing coffee with your friends. That
Hey,
is
right up my alley.
Right?
to business and beyond.
Where there's history, true friendships, but it's fine. I've also been a rat. I'm obsessed with her. I hate her. Literally the exact same feeling.
If you really want to party,
You have to have the perfect combination.
Give them Lala. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed morning show.
Remember, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
First thing I wake up to go to my car and I just see this tape, cars and everything. That's like one of the craziest things I've heard happen here.
An impressively pliable 22-year-old Florida woman's in jail after pulling off a stunt straight out of a magician's playbook. She shot a gun while handcuffed behind her back. Rihanna Harden somehow slipped a small gun from her pants and did her first squad car pop. This happened about 2:30 a.m. Monday, grazing a deputy that pulled her over. Following a traffic stop, she was arrested for driving with a suspended license, giving deputies a fake ID, and having drugs on her, the Florida hat trick. Even though she'd been handcuffed behind her back and patted down, she still managed to fire off a shot using a small caliber handgun hidden within her pants. Despite crashing into a utility pole, the deputy hopped out, returned fire, hitting Harden in the shoulder and hip. It's scary to think of what could have happened if she was a better shot, said a public information officer with the Marion County Sheriff's Office. According to court records, it's not Harden's first run-in with the law. She's tried running from police several times before. Following Monday's incident, she was patched up at the hospital and booked into jail.
Tried to shoot a cop.
Yeah, thank God it didn't work out for her as well as she had hoped.
She's gone.
Yeah, she'll be in jail for a while, let's hope.
I bet you that cop is a little more thorough with his searches from here on out.
Yeah, I would think so.
Dang. Skis.
A 22-year-old man managed to slip away from authorities briefly after a Florida deputy accidentally tasered his own partner right in the butt. Oh, man.
I'll tell you.
Not going to live that one down.
Goes from bad to worse. A Saturday night traffic stop. Keelan Haynes started resisting. Body cam footage shows two deputies wrestling him to the ground next to a Jeep. One deputy stepped back, pulled out his taser, and fired. But instead of hitting the suspect, he zapped his partner right in the rear end. Poor guy locked up like a statue and hit the ground while Haynes took off running.
He tased the police.
He did.
Who's that guy?
That was just a guy filming the incident. It's like he shot the guy right in the butt. Sergeant T. Robinson later admitted he was the one who fired the shot. He said his first attempt to hit Haynes hit him, but it didn't do much, so he tried again. This time, the probes missed the target and hit Officer Poole instead, and wouldn't you know it, that one worked perfectly.
Right on the ass cheeks.
Right in the butt. Hayes managed to run, but not for long. They tracked him down and hit him with another taser, this one with actual results. He's facing a felony drug charge for fentanyl plus misdemeanors for resisting without violence and having less than 20 grams of weed.
Well, that's funny.
And there's video of it, too. The story's embarrassing enough.
And the guy kind of gave out a...
Yeah.
Hard to keep from screaming like a child, I bet, in that situation.
Hopefully he's at the end of his career, pardon the pun, versus being a relatively newer guy. And this is him the rest of his... Both these guys, the rest of their lives.
They're going to call him ass cheeks from here on out.
A 74-year-old Florida man was arrested Sunday after drunkenly pointing a shotgun at medics trying to help him and then trying to steal a fire truck.
Fire truck?
Started with a 911 call from a woman reporting her husband had fallen and couldn't get up.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
The wife told dispatchers her husband, William Cobb, was extremely intoxicated and had been drinking off and on for several days.
Oh, no.
First responders arrived about 10:30 a.m. When they were trying to help, Cobb grabbed a tire iron and advanced toward them. Then retreated to a bedroom, grabbed a shotgun, and pointed it at the medics and said, "I haven't killed anyone, but today may be the day."
Oh, on and off for several days. Ugh.
That's what they used to call a bender, Ashley.
That's going to be a wicked hangover.
Still armed, he ran toward a fire truck and climbed in the driver's seat, tried to put it in gear, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't figure it out. A deputy arrived seconds later, ordered Cobb out, but he refused. After a brief struggle in which Cobb struck the deputy in the head, he was pulled from the truck and restrained on the ground.
Angry drunk.
Yeah, he was very, very angry.
Worst kind.
One of those drunks where there's just nothing you can say, nothing you can do. They lash out at everything and everybody.
On the topic of firefighters, if you've ever wondered when they're the busiest, fire-related calls, they say, peak on Saturdays, while severe weather calls are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Overall, U.S. fire departments are the busiest in January and July, thanks to New Year's fireworks and 4th of July fun. Quietest in April, which gives them plenty of time to set down the hoses and pick up the cameras for those sexy firefighter calendars our aunts and moms love.
Those are beautiful. They do good work on those.
That's one of my favorite things at the fair is when you see the St. Paul firefighters running around there topless and suspenders selling their calendars.
I don't complain about it.
Oh, man, the crowds that they get.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, they know what they're doing.
Gosh.
The 39-year-old Florida nurse arrested for stuffing cheesy nachos down her wife's leggings during a 3 a.m. domestic spat.
Oh, yeah.
You may remember this story. She's been sentenced to a 29-week domestic violence diversion program. If she completes that successfully, the misdemeanor will fall off her record, and the court will drop the case. Oh,
it's not easy being cheesy.
Cops say the wife, also a nurse, was whipping up some nachos when Swan told her she shouldn't be eating that late. And then made a comment that she was getting a little fat. Swan then launched some late-night snack warfare, grabbing a handful of cheesy nachos, giving her a backdoor burrito, shoving them down the back of her wife's leggings. She also reportedly slammed her head on the floor and hooked her mouth with both hands like a human fish.
Oh, the old fish hook.
Ouch.
When police arrived, they found 2 cheesy smears on the wall. The victim's leggings were also lined with nacho cheese.
They must not be, that's ridiculous, to smear nacho cheese and tortilla chips down the pants of your significant other. But they must not be as close as they portrayed themselves to be. Because, Josh, when I tell you about your weight issues, you take it as constructive criticism. You take it in stride.
I do.
Where this gal snapped at the thought of discussing her weight.
Well, you don't see what Josh does behind closed doors.
What does he do?
He could get home and just cry for hours.
You don't have that kind of a thing happening. When you get home, you don't cry your eyes out because I criticize you about your weight, do you?
No, I binge eat.
Oh, no.
That's how I deal with the stress of it.
No.
And it's a vicious cycle.
Oh.
But, I mean, you should slow down a little bit.
I understand.
You're starting to get pretty big.
I get it, and I appreciate you helping me out with that one.
See, I knew we were different.
Starving. A soapless soap opera will be playing out in a Midwest courtroom next week after a Wisconsin man assaulted his wife, who confronted him about his personal hygiene.
Smell bad, she said.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty bad. 68-year-old Kimberly Narvatsky told her 67-year-old husband, Michael, to take a shower. Saying she didn't want him sleeping on their clean sheets until he did.
Wash your ass.
That request did not go over well. What followed was a violent altercation that sent Kimberly fleeing to a neighbor's house for help. She told officers the fight started because Michael hadn't showered in 2 months. When she reminded him that she doesn't like it when he sleeps in the bed like that, he came toward her. She pushed him away, fearing he'd lash out, and then he did. She said the only thing that stopped him was a well-aimed drop kick to the dink. When questioned, Michael, still in falsetto, claimed...
She got him, huh?
Yeah, she kicked him right in the crotch.
Atta girl.
He claimed they argued because he hadn't showered in about 3 weeks, not 2 months. That's crazy. 3 weeks is a lot different than 2 months in his mind. He also said, well, in everybody's, he also said Kimberly attacked him first and that he only backhanded her once using his funk fu in self-defense. Officers weren't impressed. They held their breath, plugged their noses, and cuffed the unwashed Wisconsinite on the spot. His next court date is set for Tuesday, assuming he's showered up by then.
This guy's just a trash can.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So crazy. How could you just want to do that? Like your whole thing makes sense, Josh, when you took a bet in college to see how long you could go without showering.
I was a 19-year-old moron.
Yes, that makes sense. But for you to willingly choose not to bathe yourself, something's not right there.
Can you still call the cops and have somebody deloused?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they'll hose you down somewhere, right? I'd imagine there's got to be somebody to help out with that.
The guy I used to work with at a warehouse never, ever, 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 ever showered. Never. He was one of the most interesting characters I've ever seen in my life. His appearance was unmistakable. And finally, one day, he came into work and he was all shaved down. His hair was all shaved down and he was clean. And we said, what the hell happened? And he claimed that his landlord called the cops and they took him out of there and they deloused him.
Do you remember when we had something similar here?
No.
There was a guy...
Was that Tuna Foot?
Yes.
I remember Tuna Foot.
He smelled so bad, our program director at the time said, hey, I'd like it if you join me in this meeting. I got to talk to him about his hygiene, and I don't want to be the only one in there. So I was like, all right, I guess so. So I went in there and sat as our boss said, dude, you got to take a shower. This is a workplace. You got to start showering. People are complaining.
Well, that must not have been Tuna Foot, because Tuna Foot was only here like a week. So there was
there was 2 tuna feet. That's what I think.
How did we have 2 tuna feet?
I don't know. There was a second tuna. The Tuna Foot. Maybe you'll remember this. I had to bail him out of jail once. Same guy. Do you remember that guy?
No.
I'll have to write down his.
But there was a guy so bad that the boss had to talk to him, and you were there.
Yeah. Our boss asked me to join him. I don't know if he was afraid of. Maybe he's going to use me as a human shield.
And that's an uncomfortable thing to say to somebody, but if you're the boss, you have to. I get why maybe he wanted some company in that situation. I remember Tuna Foot.
Radio's glamorous, wow.
But he was only here for a very, very brief period of time. This other guy, you just wrote down his name. I remember him. I don't remember that he was so filthy.
Yeah.
Did they know that you referred to them as Tuna Foot?
The one that, I don't know how in God's name did we have 2 people that worked here named Tuna Foot?
Somebody must have stole the original.
The guy who was only here for a week, he knew because we started calling him that right away. He was an intern and he would just stand in the studio with us in case we needed this or that. And day one I said, what in the hell is that smell?
Oh.
And we're all trying to figure out where the smell was coming from. Well, it was coming from his feet. And he finally, it was like day one, he was brand new. He finally said, it might be my feet. My shoes are really bad. And then, yes, it was. So we got the nickname on the spot. I have no idea how it branched off to somebody else, but
somebody must have liked it so much they gave it to him. Yeah.
That's not right.
Never had to do that since, thankfully. That was something else. Although your day's coming, Dana. A serial sicko with a foot fetish and a flair for flashing was finally busted this week. Cops say 37-year-old Dexter Betancourt approached an unsuspecting 30-year-old woman while she was waiting for a train in Manhattan about 1 a.m. June 18th. When she rejected his creepy advances, Betancourt bent down and tried to kiss her feet.
I'm sorry, but you have the most beautiful feet. Would you like a foot massage?
She did not want a foot massage, and she definitely didn't want his tongue on her feet.
Oh.
So naturally, he didn't take that rejection well and whipped it out. Ran off.
He whipped out his penis?
Yes, his penis.
Oh. To avenge her disinterest in him licking her feet.
That's how he expressed his disappointment.
Okay.
He was later spotted on surveillance video seductively licking his lips.
Oh, no. No, don't like that.
I can't watch that scene in Kingpin. I can't. He appeared in court with a black eye and then lashed out at a reporter's question about whether or not he had a foot fetish.
Dexter, you got a foot fetish? My mother has a foot fetish? Is that what you said? That's not very nice. You shouldn't say that.
What?
The reporter said, hey, you got a foot fetish? And he said, your mother's got a foot fetish.
Oh.
It wasn't exactly his first time starring in a police report. The perv's already...
Starring in a police report. I like the way you put that.
Thank you. He's already got 10 priors, including assault, strangulation, forcible touching, resisting arrest. The rap sheet of a guy who shouldn't be walking around with the rest of us, but they let him off of this one. Back in 2013, he attacked a 27-year-old woman, threw her to the ground, and bit her face. When cops tried to cuff him, he fought back and spit on him. A few months before that, he got busted for smoking weed, which led Betancourt to get extreme. He punched the arresting officer in the face, then dragged her by the neck and slammed her to the ground.
Yeah,
Why is this dude not locked up forever?
Let's get rid of this guy.
In his latest performance, he was charged with indecent exposure, but again, they just gave him a warning, and he's back on the streets.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, don't fully understand that either, Ashley. Birthdays. April on Parks and Recreation. Aubrey Plaza is 41 today.
Oh, I love her so much.
Ron Swanson on Parks and Recreation. Nick Offerman is 55.
What? That's cute that they have the same birthday.
Jack on Will and Grace, Larry and the Three Stooges, and 1/3 of the popular podcast Smartless. Sean Hayes is 55 as well. The dog is not my boss, Jesus. Text in a shout out to his wonderful wife, Chica, on their 4th anniversary. No Hawk Welder Jesus needs a shout out for his lady. Happy birthday to gluten-free Jesus, and he said he's going to give her the world's okayest wienering for her birthday.
Oh, good wienering.
Happy birthday to the smiliest and silliest little girl, little Miss Eloise, turning the big 01 today from Mom, Fun Size Jesus. Happy 9th birthday to Thad from Mom, Supreme Psych Nurse Jesus, Dad, and Audrey. Happy belated birthday to Green Jeans Jesus from Joe the Plumber, and that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
Never had a grown man send me so many pictures with his shirt off.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University.
He's a Maverick.
Now he's a Maverick. Here he is, our number 2 pick. Which is a true story.
That is true.
Yeah. 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 35 years ago, whenever the hell we started this nightmare, when Josh and I sat down to have a conversation about dragging a sports guy onto the air with us. Our number
I don't
one...
think I was even the number 2 pick.
No, you were the 3rd.
Yeah.
We didn't think you'd be interested.
Oh, I thought he was number 1 was Joe Schmidt. He didn't want to do it.
Yeah, he turned us down.
Number 2 was who?
Number 2 was, Jeff Grayson, who we had on.
Jeff Grayson?
Yeah, you don't remember having him on?
Well, yeah, I remember having him on.
Nice.
Yeah. No. Nice. Why would he be our number 2 pick? We had already parted ways with him. Anyway, Randy Shaver was not our number 1.
He was number 3.
Not our number 1 pick.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And I'm still not the number 1 pick. If you could get rid of me, you probably would do that.
I noticed that Nick reads a lot of resumes.
Yes.
He gets them
We can't get rid of you. You're the only guy that gets any endorsements around here anymore. You're making the station chief's making us too much money now, Josh.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
That's true.
A lot of guys get fired in this business, by the way, because they make too much money. Don't they?
At least that's what they usually end up saying.
That's the story they tell.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
They like to tell that story. What happened to you? How come you got gassed? I was costing the station too much money.
I wish I was that delusional.
So the number 1 overall pick last night in the NBA draft, and no one's surprised, was this Cooper Flagg kid from Duke. The Wolves selected Juan Berenguer.
No.
What the hell is this?
Close, though.
Jawan Berringer?
Behringer.
With the 17th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Johan Birangi from
Oh,
Strasbourg, France, and the Olympia Club in Slovenia.
Johan Barangi.
See, I didn't hear it pronounced like that. He pronounced it that way. I heard a couple of different places pronounce it Johan Berenger.
Well, Barangi is exactly how it's spelled.
We'll figure it out.
Beringer, Barangi. Everybody would think.
Oh, you're right. We'll figure it out. All right, I didn't know 99% of these kids, Randy.
Sure.
Because I only watch Golden Gopher basketball. And then, of course, I watch the tournament when it comes. What do they call it? The big dance and everything. But I just, a lot of these guys are so young, I just don't know. And they come from all over the world. This Barangi kid is French.
Right.
I
There
saw
were actually 3 Frenchmen that were drafted last night, yes.
I saw some video of this Barangi playing basketball, though.
He can move. He's got great feet.
Yeah.
He's very athletic.
Yeah.
His offensive game needs work.
Yeah.
But he can rim protect. And I think, the Wolves are kind of preparing themselves, right, for some sort of front court moves, whether it's this year or next. Gobert likely is not in the picture.
When?
But they haven't made a move yet.
You think Rudy Gobert will not be playing with this club next year?
I think there's a good chance that there are going to be some moves made.
Okay.
There's been so much speculation about him as part of some sort of a trade deal.
Right.
Now, the Lakers were a team that had interest, supposedly, because they need a center. How that shakes, I'm not quite sure.
All I can tell you is this Barangi, whatever his name is, he's only 18 years old. He's got a ways to go. But the video I saw of him last night, very agile for his size, kind of reminded me of the way Jaden McDaniels plays defense.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I watched some video this morning of him. I would say that he moves more like a power forward than he's not a clunky center.
No,
right?
hell no. No, he's pretty smooth.
He's not clunky. He's pretty smooth. So
this is a text from a listener saying the kid did not look terribly thrilled to be drafted by the Timber. I thought he had a pretty.
Yeah,
I thought he
was fine.
Whatever.
The guy that didn't look thrilled was Ace Bailey, who went to Utah.
Oh,
he's the one that didn't look thrilled.
Nobody wants to go to Utah.
Well, I think he thought he had set himself up to go to like Washington or a play out of the top 5. That's what the whole discussion was about Ace Bailey. Then Utah ended up taking him at 5. So
a few people have texted in to say Adam Silver, is that his name, the commissioner?
Yes.
Yeah. Looks like an evil cartoon character.
He kind of does.
Like a hairless cat sitting on his lap.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The thing is so frustrating, Nick. If you watch the draft, first of all, the coverage by ESPN and ABC was horrible. It just the announcers, ESPN was unwatchable. Last night.
It was
for me anyway.
Okay, I didn't see much of it.
But the other thing about the NBA draft is because the NBA league year doesn't start until July. A lot of these guys are not good. They're putting on these hats of teams they're not going to be playing for.
Well, there were a lot of trades at the draft last night.
Yes, or before the draft.
Before the draft.
I'm looking at the list from ESPN this morning. I would say more than half of the guys who were picked will not play for the team that drafted them.
Okay.
It's so bizarre to watch these guys go up and be drafted by Atlanta, but he's going to play for Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
It's so confusing for the audience. I don't understand why or how the NBA can't fix that problem. It just makes no sense to me.
One listener has texted in, Randy Shaver, do you have an answer for this guy? He wants to know, where did Deion Sanders' kid go? Did he get drafted?
Deion Sanders' kid, he did not get drafted in the first round. He fell.
Oh, and now they started up again today, and the Wolves have the first pick in the second round.
So they could take Sanders' boy.
Let's take one of Deion Sanders'
round
kids.
2.
Yeah.
Yes, we could. Very much so.
It was really funny last night. It took hecklers about a half a second to bust this Adam Silver's balls at last night's NBA draft. At the very beginning of the show, Adam Silver walks out to make the announcement of that number 1 overall pick. And clear as day, someone from the crowd yelled, as they're waiting for the Dallas Mavericks pick to come in, the number 1 overall pick. Someone clear as a bell yells from the crowd, Dallas was rigged. That's effing funny.
Yep.
That's effing funny right there. Because we all know that was a friggin' scam. That was a friggin' scam.
Well,
come on. Baby Nuts gets traded. The entire city of Dallas is devastated, right?
Somehow the Knicks ended up with the first pick and Patrick Ewing.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
There's a lot of conspiracy
I know you don't go along with a lot of my conspiracy theories, but there's no way you can ignore the Dallas Mavericks thing. No way.
I understand. And the again, when you get the first pick, I mean, Cooper Flagg is clearly the best player in this draft with the greatest potential to be an NBA All-Star. The kid is phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He's a Maverick now. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when a team like Dallas jumps 10 spots to get him and all the things that you just said about them, I can understand why people are question everything.
Give me a friggin' break with that bit. That was such a scam. It's embarrassing for the NBA. That was so obvious.
And the NBA draft, when you compare it to like the NFL draft, it's so janky, right?
I don't know. I don't watch these programs.
At card tables.
Yeah.
With terrible tablecloths, and it's so different than the NFL draft.
But don't you think the NFL overdoes it, for God's sake?
I do. I totally do. But when you compare the two, it's like, oh God.
The NFL draft, now they're in Vegas and they have synchronized swimmers dancing in a pool and laser light show. Like the guy plays football. Yeah. He's a 300-pound offensive lineman. Why is a synchronized swimming team doing a dance? And
I agree.
Fire eaters are falling from the ceiling of the arena. It's a freaking stupid football player.
No, I know. I agree.
Now this is friggin' silly. Something from the Star Tribune. Now that Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez own the ball club here in town, the Wolves and the Lynx, I found this to be so silly. This is the headline. Wolves and Lynx games could become a lot hipper with the new ownership.
I saw that.
Hipper?
Yes.
What?
Because we all fall down and touch ourselves if a famous person comes to our town. Unfortunately, that is how we are around here.
Just look back to when Charles Barkley was here and everybody's, what restaurants was he at? Did he have fun? He said mean things about Minnesota. I hope he has a good time.
That drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. But anyway, here's where this article is going. The story mentions now that ever since Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez, started hanging around and the process of them buying the club, Josh, Bobby Flay did show up at a basketball game or two.
How about that? I mean, you're into that kind of stuff, aren't you, Dana? You like those celebrity cooks, I thought.
I like Guy Fieri. I don't really like Bobby Flay. He seems like kind of a pretentious dude.
I love Bobby Flay.
I didn't know there was a rivalry.
I don't know if there's a rivalry. I think they're friends. I just don't like his shows. I think he just comes off as kind of obnoxious.
I wouldn't know him if I was banging him. But anyway,
celebrity
chef Bobby Flay did already attend some Wolves games. So you see what they're saying? The draw of having a famous owner might make it a little more of a hip scene now.
I don't think so.
You never know.
Hip scene. I just love that.
I don't think so.
You never know who you might see now.
I mean, hip for us is when Justin Jefferson shows up. That's hip for us. But I mean, those are local, pro athletes who take the time to go watch another team play. That's kind of the hip stuff for us.
Yeah, I like seeing that.
Yeah, I think that's about as hip as we get.
But I mean, for Pete's sake.
I know. I mean, the big discussion, obviously, with these two guys is the arena. What does the future look like for the Timberwolves in this town where will they end up? Because Target Center is not in their future. They've made it very clear, and I think we've all known this. Could they end up in a suburb someplace?
Oh,
wouldn't that be amazing for people who don't want to go downtown to watch a professional team play?
I hope they come to Coon Rapids.
Remember what it was like to go watch the Twins and the Vikings in Bloomington.
And the North Stars, too.
In the North Stars, too, at the Met Center. I'm old enough to remember what that's like. So are you.
Mm-hmm.
There was something pretty, I guess, less stressful about driving to the suburb to find a place to park and go to a game than there is downtown. So we'll see how this all shakes out, but it's pretty clear that this team will, probably 5 years from now, will be either it's set up to be in a different place and they're maybe playing somewhere else in the interim, or who knows, maybe they will be in a new arena in 5 years. I don't know if it'll be 5, but that's the vibe that they're giving out, that they are definitely not going to be a Target Center.
Well, one of the best parts of the North Stars, Twins, and Vikings playing out there in Bloomington was parking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
That's exactly what I mean.
A parking lot. The parking lots were about the size of a county. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And actually had a tailgate scene, unlike the stadiums we have.
That's cool.
There's not going to be as much tailgating for a Timberwolves game necessarily, but I think just the stress of parking and all of that comes with that in being downtown.
Especially when there's other sporting events going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh,
right. Yeah. So.
And then, there's also, again, the possibility of going to a Timberwolves game, and by God, there's, Chevy Chase.
Rick Ross.
Or Rick Ross.
Oh, man. Big names.
I don't know who else might swing by. I don't know. You never know now that A-Rod and J-Lo are running things. You never know who you might see. A couple days ago, Randy Shaver, you were talking about something that's very strange but true. The fact that Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, and Jason Tatum all had their Achilles tendons explode during this year's playoff, and all of them wore jersey number 0.
Right.
That's one. I'm glad, Josh, that we weren't smoking pot when he told us that, because that would have blown my mind. That's all of them wore numbers, and their Achilles went. And that was just in the playoff. So I read an article, why all the Achilles injuries in the NBA this season? Experts say the cause? Overuse. Over damn doing it. Just like we've been talking about with Royce Lewis and whatnot.
You're talking about too much training.
Yes.
Yes. And this goes back. I saw people trying to add youth sports into that too. Too much of, the same kind of beating that you put on your legs all the time. That's the discussion in youth sports is overuse of the same muscles, the same training all the time. That's why you see colleges prefer 3-sport athletes, because they're not constantly playing basketball 10 months out of the year. Mm-hmm. They're doing something else.
Just riding a bicycle, for Pete's sake.
Right. So, I don't know if they really truly have an answer as to why that happened, but it is very strange that you had 3 superstar players have the same injury in the postseason, basically.
Not to mention the jersey number. Now, here's another route they take. Athletes have prioritized upper leg strength. Their lower legs need to have the strength to keep up, so calves and Achilles tendons are popping like firecrackers all over.
I disagree with that, because there's so much analytics now in training. You've got these trainers, these personal trainers and other trainers for organizations who, they're down to the I mean, they've got these workouts down to a T as to what you're working on. I just don't think they're overlooking that. I don't buy that.
The wear and tear of playing an explosive game. The answer to the issue, I think, is illegal performance-enhancing drugs. That's going to keep these guys on the playing field.
Let's juice them back up.
Oh, by the way, we got a couple of text messages that said the best part about the Twins, North Stars, and Vikings playing in Bloomington back in the day, aside from the parking, was the Thunderbird Motel.
Oh, yeah.
I always wanted to stay there, but it was gone before I was able to.
Yeah.
I've heard stories.
Been there quite a few times.
Oh, you have? Nice.
Yeah.
That was a hot spot for fans before and after
before
games.
and after.
And that's where the players would stay also. Vikings. Right. The Vikings would usually stay there the night before a game, would they not, Randy?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one, oh, God. Ashley just looked at me as if she was saying, oh, Christ, there's got to be some stories about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Man, the beer drinking.
Well, think about it. I mean, think about it. The Mall of America was not there.
Right.
Okay, so you have to picture that's that's where the Met Stadium was. It's hard to imagine for people of a young age to think that the Thunderbird basically was the only hotel within a few miles out there.
Yeah, now they have all the bougie hotels out there.
Right. So
this shows the age range on this program, because when we were talking about the North Stars games and stuff, Thunderbird didn't pop into my head. What popped into my head was we used to go the ground round after the North Stars game.
Oh,
yeah.
Ground round. Wasn't there a joint over there, too, called the Rusty Scupper or something like that?
Yes, there was. That was a 494.
494?
Yep. That was the place to go, too.
Yeah, if I remember right, and I'm not going to even – I think I have the right player, but I'm not going to say his name out loud.
That was the hip place, Nick.
Rusty Scupper? That was the hip place?
If you wanted to see the hip stuff, that's where you wanted to go. Yeah.
You probably picked up some squish over there back in the day.
I was there a few times.
Hot shot news guy from Cedar Rapids with your C. Thomas Howell good looks back in the early 80s. Some bitch looked like C. Thomas Howell when he was young. Randy Shaver looked like C. Thomas Howell. So I'm not going to say the player's name out loud because I don't, I'm not certain. But I remember hearing a story many years ago about the night before a playoff game at Met Stadium, Vikings playoff game. This is back when Bud Grant was the coach.
Yep.
And I shouldn't say the night before. The morning of the playoff game, they're having their team meeting at the Thunderbird, and there's a player missing. And this was a starter. And everyone know, well, where the hell is this guy? Donnie, we'll call him, because I'm not going to say what name I believe it was. No one could find his ass there in the dining hall or whatever. He wasn't in the bathroom. Well, where the hell is Donnie? So they ran up to his hotel room at the Thunderbird, and the sumbitch was like ass naked, tweaked out on cocaine in his bathtub.
Oh.
And in that moment, 3-4 hours before this playoff game, Bud Grant's got to figure out, well, this guy's not going to play. Got to find out. Someone tell the backup that he's starting today because our starter is naked, tweaked out on blow in his bathtub.
Coked out. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
But that was the 70s and 80s, Randy Shaver. They went through a lot of booger sugar back then.
Certainly did.
I have a story from the Thunderbird. Dana might appreciate this more than anybody else. We used to go to all the wrestling shows.
Yeah.
At Met Stadium. WWF, AWA. And this was at a WWF show where one of the feature wrestlers was One Man Gang.
Sweet.
Do you remember One Man Gang?
Yeah.
Another one of his characters in the 80s was Akeem. But anyway, this guy was the size of a house. And we were like 11. One Man Gang comes into the ring, and we had really good seats, and we hit him with some milk duds. We threw milk duds at the One Man Gang, and the sumbitch got pissed, or at least he portrayed himself to be pissed because he was the heel.
Yeah.
Scared the hell out of us.
I bet.
It really did. We thought, we've crossed the One Man Gang.
Yeah.
Because he was leaning over the ropes going, you little peckerheads, I'll choke the piss out of you. Oh, God, we've done it this time.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the Thunderbird Motel after the show for our parents to pick us up. We're waiting in the lobby, and here comes One Man Gang.
Oh, no.
We thought he was looking for us. We ran. One Man Gang's going to get us for throwing milk duds at him. So our mom was wondering, what are you guys doing? I told you not to hang out in the parking lot. This place is shady. We said we had to leave the lobby. One Man Gang was looking for us. She said, who the hell is One Man Gang? Yeah. Oh, man. The Twins got a win last night, Randy.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Joe Ryan needs to be considered as an all-star.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? He needs to be, if the Twins are going to have an all-star this year, Buck deserves it too. We need to get 2 of them. Buxton is having a great year at age 31, his best year. And Joe Ryan is right now among the top 6 pitchers in the American League starters at 8-3 with an ERA of 2.86. He has 104 strikeouts, which is among the leaders as well. He needs, I don't know if he will, if he can win the next 2 starts, he probably has a much better chance. Max Fried and Carlos Rodon for the Yankees are 10-2 and 9-5. But Scooble's in that. DeGrom almost threw a no-hitter last night.
I didn't even know he was still pitching.
Oh, God, he's had a great year, Nick.
Jacob DeGrom.
His ERA is barely over 2.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike out as many people as he used to. But, man, he's having a great year for Texas, who's having a dog crap year as a team. But, I mean,
we're not going to argue with you. Joe Ryan deserves to be there.
He's in there with Framber Valdez, with Hunter Brown. I mean, these guys, he deserves consideration, at least right now, for what he's done. And what he did last night is what a stopper in the rotation does for you. You're having a losing streak. You're struggling. You need someone to pick you up and get you back in the win column and go out there and throw 7 innings, 6 innings, rock solid. He got great help from the bullpen to seal it, but I'm thinking that Joe Ryan, if he can win the next 2 starts, he should be one of the American League All-Stars.
We're backing you up. The Twins won 2-0. Cody Clemens hit his 9th dong of the season, which
what a surprise that guy's been.
Without a doubt.
I mean, he really.
I thought he'd be here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's been the biggest surprise so far of their season. And they haven't had a lot of bright spots lately, but he's been one of them.
Cody Clemens in the air to left center field. Rosarena on the move. Rosarena at the wall. It is gone, a home run. Cody Clemens goes oppo. A 2-out solo blast to left center, and the Twins have a 2-0 lead.
He's been doing just fine. So, I mean, they got a long ways to go, the Twins, if they want to, gather back some of what they've lost in the last couple of weeks. I don't think they're going to play today. I don't know. It's raining. It's supposed to rain.
Yeah, we're supposed before. Is it an afternoon game?
Yeah.
Afternoon?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen because the rain is supposed to start up again and last pretty much the last half of the morning, early afternoon. So.
What does it say here now? Oh, the Twins signed another pitcher because they're just desperate. Jose Urania.
Well, he's been around. He's bounced around the league for sure.
If he makes a start for the Twins, that will be his 4th team this baseball season.
This season,
he's bounced around a little bit. Yeah,
he's kind of like Scott Blewett.
Sure, I know the name. Oh, I think Randy.
I heard
Randy
that.
just zapped out.
This guy, I've been watching his.
My God.
He's been bouncing around all these different teams, so kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I hear you. Red Sox pitcher Cutter Crawford is likely out for the season due to an injured right wrist. Now, his manager, Alex Cora, said that Crawford injured his wrist in an off-field accident, but refused to give details. Oh, for Christ's sake, Josh, maybe he's a cuck like you.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Injured his right wrist in an off-the-field accident, but they won't give any details. That sounds like cuckold activities. And you'll be able to see the king of the cucks tomorrow night on our booze cruise. Not going to go into details, the manager said. It was just an accident. Oh, this must have been a good one.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've probably been better off just making something up, don't you think?
Yeah,
now everyone wants to know.
Everyone's speculating now.
This had to have been good.
Yeah, if you just trip going down the stairs, they just say that.
Yeah.
Nick, let me backtrack to the NBA 1 second if I can.
The National Basketball Association, yes.
I saw something on X yesterday, and it stopped me in my tracks. Turned out to be false. Turned out not to be true. But it was a trade. It made it look like the Wolves had made a trade.
Oh.
And the trade was Gobert,
DiVincenzo?
Dillingham, DiVincenzo, and the first pick, pick 17, for Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics.
Oh, really?
So I stopped for a... No, I'm sorry. It wasn't Gobert. It was Julius Randle.
Oh.
Randle, DiVincenzo, the 17th pick in the draft for Jaylen Brown. And I went, oh, God.
Right.
I couldn't figure out how I felt about that. What would you think if that was a true trade yesterday?
I'm not a big Jaylen Brown fan just because I hate the Celtics.
He's a great player,
so
but
he is a
older.
great player.
Yeah.
He is a little older. I've fallen for that stuff before too, Randy Shaver. These friggin' websites with their clickbait.
Well, this wasn't a website. This was actually on Twitter yesterday.
Oh, well,
and I was like,
same damn thing.
And I was, well, I'm on Twitter a lot. So when I see something like that, the first thing I did was jump to a legitimate site like ESPN or something to see if it's true. And I couldn't find it anywhere. So obviously it wasn't.
Jaylen Brown's a great player.
But it stopped me in my tracks. I went, oh, man, that's interesting.
If that was a reality, I guess I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it because the guy's had so much success. He is a great player. But Josh knows what I'm talking about. There are some of these effing websites.
Oh, I know.
Where
you got to be careful.
Timberwolves make huge tiny letters proposed trade.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you think it's legit. I think there was something about a year ago I thought it was legit, but it was not. It was just a writer strategizing on how a trade might go down. So you're not the only one.
There's been a lot of that lately.
It sucks. It sucks. All this, here's a writer strategizing on a big trade, what it would look like. Well, if you're in a hurry, like we are sometimes on this friggin' show. All right, what do you think about this idea? We mentioned yesterday this poor kid for the Arizona Diamondbacks, second baseman Ketel Marte. He was brought to tears a couple days ago in the middle of a ball game. The Diamondbacks were playing at the Chicago White Sox. He's up to the plate. A fan taunts him over the death of his mother, and he can't continue on. We went on. We talked about this yesterday.
Yes.
He could be seen crying. The true story is his mother died in a car wreck a few years ago. Now, the fan who heckled him there at the White Sox ballpark was removed from the game. Baseball fans are suggesting that kicking this dude out of the game, it was a 22-year-old kid. He has been banned indefinitely from all big league ballparks for what he's done.
He looked like a little bitch, too.
Did he look like a bitch?
Oh, yeah. Very punchable face.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Can I see a picture of this bitch?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Truly did.
Okay.
You're the best.
Big league fans are saying that's not enough of a punishment. Marte should be allowed to fight this kid for at least 5 uninterrupted minutes, is what one fan came up with.
Yeah.
Ketel Marte should get to beat the absolute out of this fan, another baseball enthusiast said online. Yeah, I think there should be some time in the octagon.
All right, here's his face, Nick.
With the smile?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he looks like a bitch.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think, Josh? You think they should, Marte should be able to take a few cuts at this fool?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've always thought that, like, of some terrible crimes, maybe the family should be able to take a couple of blows, just take out somebody if they want to.
I agree with you.
I was telling one of my friends yesterday that this guy has never had his ass beat. He just needs to get his ass beat one time.
You're right. It might change him. Maybe he'll be a better person after.
Needs to get his ass beat.
Yeah, some people just need to.
You don't think he's ever taken a beating? Well, yeah, Josh, sometimes you watch those courthouse shows or something along those lines, and there's some just human feces pile, right? Accused of horrible, horrible, horrible things. Even some of them have already been sentenced, right?
Right.
The family of the victims are in the courtroom, and sometimes they get a little hot, which you can understand. And the judge says, oh, no, I won't have any of that. F that.
I agree. There should be you got 5 minutes to knock that off.
Right.
That type of thing.
You should give these people a half hour to lay into the sumbitch, even if it's just verbally.
Well, they do that. They have like a victim's statement.
Mm-hmm. But I thought you weren't allowed to really get to.
No.
Yeah.
The ones I've seen, who knows what it's like. But, you said, when they show them, it's always, they're very well spoken, it seems. Yes. They're able to maintain their
victim
rage.
impact statements.
Shows a lot of maturity.
It really does.
And I hope, we're not trying to compare this kid in Chicago to a mass murderer or anything. We're just talking about
the idea of somebody being able to, take a couple of cuts at someone who deserves it.
Really express themselves, if they want to. What do we got here, Randy Shaver? The NHL is discussing an 84-game schedule.
Why? Why?
By the time you're dead, Randy Shaver,
which could be soon.
By the time I'm on death's door, you'll already be dead. All of the professional leagues will have expanded their regular seasons to the point where we just can't stand it anymore.
They're going to be year-round here pretty soon.
Yeah.
It's just going to be year-round.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it means a few more dollars. That's all it is.
Obviously, the NFL has a little bit more room to grow just because of they play 11 games, then 14 games, then whatever. When you start talking about an 84-game regular season, I know it's only a couple more games than what they're playing right now, but it's like you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Right.
It's that scenario.
When is enough enough?
Exactly.
Good
So
Lord.
You know what? I wouldn't mind that. If you want to make it 84 games in the regular season, then reduce the postseason. Don't make it a 7-game series.
Right.
Make it a 5-game or a
3 and 5.
To me, that would be great for me.
That amps up the excitement so much more.
It does, and it makes it more compact. And
but they won't make as much money.
Well, I understand, but to me, that's where I would get excited as a fan.
Oh yeah.
If you want to make it an 84-game season, fine, but make every round except the finals a 5-game or a 3-game.
There, I can live with that.
That would be awesome.
I can live with that. It's just, when is enough going to be enough? Especially the number one culprit's the NFL. For God's sake, when is enough going to be enough? It's an 18-game schedule.
The regular season is into mid-January now.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
And we're playing in Latvia, and we're playing in Biafra, and we're doing 6 games in Europe.
It's way too much.
We're going to have everybody but Carolina in the playoffs. That's it. Everyone but Carolina.
And the sad part is, at least in the NFL, every team's superstars, if they make it through an 18-game regular season, that's unheard of. It's crazy that you can do that. Just the punishment of playing that many games at that high a level in this sport is so. I mean, expand the rosters then. Let them have more guys on their rosters, because I just don't know how you make it.
Yeah.
It's such a marathon.
And we haven't even gotten into expanding teams. There's going to be a team in Spain, a team in London.
Right.
Well,
they've been talking about that stuff for a while, and it hasn't happened, so.
Again, I'll say it again. When I was a senior in high school, there were 22 teams in the National Hockey League, and it was friggin' beautiful.
Yeah.
It was friggin' perfect.
Yeah, look at Major League Baseball. I think it was, 16 teams at one time, 8 in each division.
Now, this is fun. Sticking with hockey, this is fun, but I'm a little confused as to why this was put together in effing June. But Yahoo Sports or somebody like that piled up a ranking of the top 25 Golden Gopher hockey players from the year 2000 all the way up to today. And it sounds like they're kicking off. Look forward to some more of this, I guess, because it says we're kicking off our top 25 of the last 25 years of Minnesota Golden Gophers athletics.
You will see a lot of sports teams college. I even talked to a high school football coach yesterday who they're doing like a Mount Rushmore of their last 55 years. But you'll see some teams now, because we're 25 years out from the start of the century, you will see teams starting to do things like this.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, you'll see teams start to do things like this.
Okay. I mean, I look forward to seeing a top 25 Golden Gopher football players, basketball players. I love that stuff. Why they're doing a hockey roundup here in June, I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They say cutting down to just 25 players was very hard. There are All-Americans who did not make the list. There are school record holders who did not make this list. You have some of the players who had some of the best statistical seasons in Gopher hockey history not make the list. It was very competitive.
Yeah.
So I'll just throw it your way.
Let me, and then after you do that, I'm going to ask you, think about this. What would be your Mount Rushmore of Gopher Golden hockey players?
That's a good question. And
if you could take that list and narrow it to 4.
I will. That's so hard.
I know.
That's going to be so friggin' hard. Okay. They have some honorable mentions. Again, this is the top 25 Golden Gopher hockey players of the last 25 years. Honorable mentions went to Sammy Walker, Kellen Briggs, Phil Kessel, Blake Wheeler, Eskimo brother, Jackson Lacombe. The top 25, I was surprised to see Adam Hauser in the top 25. Although he had great statistics and he won a national championship as goaltender for the Golden Gophers in the early 2000s, my God, that kid took a lot of grief from fans. He did. Unfairly.
Yes, he did.
In some situations, unfairly. Number 24, Matthew Nyes, who's having a great pro career now. 23, Rem Pitlick. 22, Grant Patolny. 21, Brock Faber. 20, Justin Close. 19, Adam Wilcox, Ben Myers, Nick Bukestead, Jeff Tafe is number 16. That dude had hands. From Hastings, some of the best hands I've ever seen. We're up to 15 now. Paul Martin should be higher on the list.
Yep.
That's my first grief or beef. Paul Martin should be higher on that list. Justin Kloos, number 13. Tyler Sheehy, 12. Troy Riddle, 11. Logan Cooley, 10. Keith Ballard, 9. Alex Goligoski, 8. Eric Holla, 7. Kyle Rao, 6. Jimmy Snuggerud, 5. Ryan Patolny, 4. Mike Riley. I was surprised to see him that high on the list. 3. Thomas Vanek, 2 Johnny Pohl, number 1 Jordan Leopold.
Okay, so use some of that.
Oh, Jesus.
And then just off the top of your head, and obviously Golden Gopher hockey goes all the way back.
Yes.
To like the Lou Nanny days.
Yes.
All the way back.
Oh, God.
How would you do that? What would you say?
Just because it's difficult, I'm just going to stick with people, players, Randy Shaver, that played while I was alive, I was aware.
Okay.
So...
Well, Neil Broughton.
You got to go with Neil Broughton. You got to go with Rob Stauber.
Okay. Fabulous. I mean, Hobie Baker winners probably should be on that list because they were recognized as the best hockey player that season in college hockey.
Right.
So,
and that's Broughton and Stauber.
Yeah.
This is painful, isn't it?
I don't friggin' know, man. I mean, you guys come to mind like Butsy Erickson and Corey Leyland and I'm sorry, not Corey Leyland. I meant to say the kid from Hibbing who played with Gretzky with the Kings. Corey. State of Hockey. Text me. The kid who played with Gretzky, Corey. Anyway, I'm going.
So Broughton,
Stauber. I'm going to go ahead with Jordan Leopold. And then, boy.
Does Lou Nanny make the list?
Someone's guessing Corey Haim. No, it's not Corey Haim.
Corey Feldman?
No, not Feldman. Lou Corys. Nanny. Did Brian Bonin win a Hobie Baker?
He did.
So
Brian
it was three of them?
Well, there may be more. Those are 3 that I know of.
Wow. Okay. Then I'll go ahead. It's too hard. So I'll go with Brian Bonin then. I didn't remember that he won a Hobie Baker. Corey Millen is who I was coming up with.
Millen,
Corey friggin' Millen.
Oh my
so
God,
I'm thinking about all these guys over years and years and years. That's the hardest question I've ever been asked on the radio. No question about it. Hopefully we get a football one and a basketball one soon. I mean, that'd be great. Before we go, Randy Shaver, I'll be damned. A sprinter for the United States track team he had his rod and his balls fall out of his shorts during a foot race that was on live television.
Congratulations to Chris Robinson for battling a problem that does emerge occasionally. Various parts of their equipment failure can make it very, very awkward. But that was a stunning effort to stay out in front.
How does he run with that thing?
Was he a hurdler or was that 100 meters?
He was running the 400-meter hurdles.
Okay, so that's hurdles. That's even worse, man.
He goes by the name of, you heard the announcer, Chris Robinson, the old Frankenbeans. Leapt out of his shorts in the middle of the race. He tried to tuck them away.
How does that happen, first of all?
Jumped out of his jock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they still wear jocks?
That's just my guess. I don't know.
I don't think they still wear jocks anymore.
Why would you not? Do you have to?
Don't they wear the
the like spandex shorts?
Spandex.
That's what I thought too.
Okay.
I haven't heard anybody talk about wearing a jock for like 30 years.
Okay. You're right. They probably just wear the spandex. I don't know.
So how does that happen if you're wearing spandex?
You know, our next guest, Dr. Andrea, is a runner. Dr. Andrea, do you mind diving in early here? Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital. If you have any questions about your house pet, the number is 651-989-9393. We'll begin Dr. Andrea's segment here shortly. But you are a runner. Do men wear jocks? You have male friend runner. They don't wear jocks.
Well, I mean, if they wear the running shorts, they have like the underwear built in.
Okay. I I did not know that.
There were tiny shorts this guy was wearing.
I'm not even a walker. I'm not.
Well, that can happen if it's built into the shorts, which they are. But I would think that some guys would also wear the spandex on top of that as well.
Yeah, usually they'll wear it under the short and then the short on top.
But these are so small, the shorts he was wearing, and I got to be honest, it's tough to hide that thing.
I don't know.
This kid ended up just kicking his gear around the track for the rest of the race.
And he kind of had a look like, oh, come on.
Yep.
Still won.
He has not commented on the incident. He did win the race.
Wow.
Despite juggling his genitals down the last 50 yards of this race. He looked, like Josh said, he looked embarrassed. I don't know if I'd comment either if I were him. But like I said, he tried to tuck it away while he was running.
Yeah. That's impossible. Right. I mean, it's an impossible task.
His friggin' Johnson crossed the finish line before anybody else. I'm sorry. I know nothing about. I assume these guys were still wearing the old jock strap.
I don't think they wear jocks anymore.
Definitely not.
Those things were so stupid.
Oh my God!
Remember in junior high gym they do a jock check?
Yes.
It was so dumb. We're going out to play kickball. I need a friggin' jock. You know, it was so dumb. But
oh man.
But that's how they used to do it, Randy.
I had friends who'd wear them as masks.
Their own, I hope.
Yes.
Their own, I hope.
God.
It's been nothing but laughs, Randy Shaver. One more final tomorrow, and then you're off the hook because it's Ultimate F-Off week for us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sounds good.
F-off. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
On 93X.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength.
We go into this hooch searching for Christ knows what.
Regardless if anybody else does it, will you do it?
There's a lot of things that are hurtful and disturbing.
Can't get anybody to talk about it. Uncovering truth with the heroes who live to tell it.
There's a saying, there's no atheist in a foxhole.
That was the hardest part for you coming home.
Was.
How'd you get through it?
I worked hard.
The Sean Ryan Show.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's Dr. Andrea.
Here to save you about $5,000 and answer your pet questions. It's Dr. Andrea.
On the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, sure. Please welcome to the show the most popular woman in town.
Right.
Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital sponsored by, I should say, Daisy Carpet Cleaning. It's true. All we got to do is say your damn name, and our text machine goes crazy. 651-989-9393 if you have a question about your beloved little bastard house pet. Thank you for being ready. We kind of threw you into the fire right away with a question about
a jock strap.
Jock straps.
you know a little bit of everything.
In the world of track and field, there was a track and field runner whose gear fell out of his shorts when he was... And you're a runner.
Yeah.
So we figured you would know. Didn't you recently run a race?
I haven't run a marathon for a while, but, I'll pick up a race here and there.
I thought maybe a week or two ago you were going off to race.
Oh, I did. I did do the Girls on the Run 5K. That was more of like a walk.
You can do a 5K
9-year-old.
with a keg of beer on your back and a cigarette in your mouth because you run real marathons.
I do. I have not run one for a while, but yes.
So a 5K is pretty easy.
Yeah, but it's fast, right?
Yeah.
The shorter the race, the faster it is.
I mean, easy for you, not the average person.
Nah.
What's that, like 3?
3.1.
Oh, really? Even for you?
Well, because the shorter the race, the faster you go, right?
Gotcha.
I wouldn't know.
I'm slow. I'm built for comfort, not for speed.
Yeah, Josh and I walked to the bathroom together after the show was over, and that's the leg exercise that we get.
You guys like the 0.5Ks.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So like a meter long.
Yeah.
Half a meter. All right. Again, the number is 651-989-9393 if you have a question for Dr. Andrea. We start with a question about...
I actually got a running question.
Running question?
Yeah,
you do?
Yeah, so I figured this would tie in nicely.
Great.
This person wants to know about running with dogs. Can you run with a puppy? They said, I've heard somewhere you're not supposed to do that until they're 2.
Yes. So usually I say 12 to 18 months, depending on the breed, but their growth plates are still open. So shorter, more frequent walks instead of like running miles with that dog at that age, because it can cause some issues with growth.
They're too little and fragile.
Yeah.
But once you get to a year, you can start.
Usually,
running?
I say 12 to 18 months. If they're like a giant breed or large breed, you even wait longer. And then also, you can't just take that dog and run 6 miles. It's just like taking a person off a couch and running 6 miles. So you got to work up to it.
Let them grow up a little bit.
They get so sleepy so easily, too.
Can I still just roll around on the carpeting with them?
Yes.
Just rolling back and forth.
Oh, I
with the
haven't
puppy.
had a puppy in so long.
And
I
then
need some
they got
puppy
the
love.
puppy breath in your face. And
and their little feet.
Potato chip feet. Yep.
What is the longest you can take a dog for a run? Like, let's say a lab or a shepherd. Something.
Until you drop dead.
I mean, if they're trained for it, I'll take my dog 8-9 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it true that I was always told, because I have a Brittany, he's very high strung. I was always told, like, you can't really tire them out. All you're doing is making their endurance better.
Oh.
I mean, think about it. They're hunting dogs, right? So they'll go until they drop. I mean, they will go all day. I think that, like, my dog will hit a point where all of a sudden he's running beside me instead of in front of me, because he's like, all right, this is the long run today.
We're still doing this? Okay.
Still running.
Does your dog do that cute thing when he's in front of you where he turns back to look to make sure he's still
so
there?
Cute.
I love that. That's my favorite.
Checking in.
Yep, still here, bud.
Well, with our dogs, you got to drag them. I mean, we don't do any jogging or running, but man, they cannot walk for very long.
I mean, they're just, Great Danes are so awkward and lanky.
And lazy.
Yes, that too.
Here, Dr. Andrea, is somebody texted in about calming treats. Their dog is a little bit stricken by the separation anxiety kind of a thing. They're going out of town for a few days. What kind of calming treats would you recommend for a little dog? Is there even such a thing, calming treats?
Oh, there is such a market for that. Yeah. I mean, typically if that dog has separation anxiety, you can start with the conservative things like a thunder shirt, the jacket that you wrap around them.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
They say it repels electricity, and they found that it actually makes a dog feel like they're being swaddled and comforted.
Really?
You could try a pheromone collar. It's a collar that you can buy online. Adaptil is the one I use that emits a maternal hormone that's calming.
Oh.
And there's CBD chews, but a lot of that, you have to get it from a reputable source because you don't know how much is in there. I will tell you with separation anxiety, I ultimately end up going to Prozac, trazodone, gabapentin, other medications.
Okay.
Because they get so amped up with anxiety that it's hard to get them down.
That collar sounds kind of interesting.
It is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It works really well in cats, like 2-cat households where they're not getting along or you're introducing them. It's called Feel Away is the product.
They stay kind of mellow.
Yeah, it just helps take them down a notch.
All right, cool.
So that question reminds me, what if your dog doesn't eat when you're not around? Like say, there's 2 of you and then let's say I leave and my dog just stops eating for 3 days. Is there any way to fix that?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot. Honestly, they can go on like a food strike. They're not going to starve themselves. So ultimately when they're hungry, they will eat. My dog always comes back from boarding and slips through his collar because I'm convinced he doesn't eat at all when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And eventually...
they'll eat.
It'll probably just eat one of the other dogs.
Doesn't your little dog do that when your wife leaves? Doesn't she go on a hunger strike?
No, she'll still get around to eating.
Yes? Okay.
But the look on her face is quite depressing. I'll tell you that much.
The problem is once you start doctoring up that food and putting good things in there, that's what they're going to wait for. Yeah. So don't do that. Otherwise, you're in for it.
We made the mistake a couple months ago, actually, of we brought his food bowl up on the couch with us.
Oh, man.
And now that's the only place he'll eat.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll stand in the kitchen and just kind of look at us in the living room and be like, well, get my food for me.
I eat on the couch now in front of the TV.
Yep.
Dr. Andrea, this person says, not a pet question, but I'm starting my 3rd year of vet school this fall at UMN.
Cool.
Wondering if you have any advice for us baby vets. Also, do you offer internship opportunities?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we are part of the U of M extern program where we have externs come through every couple weeks.
Oh, I read that wrong. They did say externship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll come out to the clinic and spend a couple weeks with us. So we're in the U of M system if you're a student and are interested.
Any advice?
Get a lot of hands-on experience. So get your foot in the door with a bunch of different clinics because then it will help you figure out where you want to work. That would be my recommendation.
All right, awesome.
Keep on trucking through. You're almost there.
Oh, this is too bad. One of our listeners texted in to tell us about their little dog, Nuffy. You want to hear about Nuffy?
What happened to Nuffy?
He's scared of fireworks.
Oh, it's that time of year. No.
Oh, no.
Since my mom got her dog a few years ago, she does not go out on the 4th of July or any time that week anymore. It's got to be home with the dog.
Maybe get Nuffy one of those.
I will tell you, I work this Saturday, and I think I'm going to get about 10 to 50 phone calls about sedatives for fireworks.
Maybe get Nuffy one of those vests that Dr. Andrea was talking about so he feels like he's being swaddled.
It's so sad. They get so scared.
It's so sad.
Here's a question about a kitty. A lot of sneezing coming out of this cat. Just started her on steroids and special food 2 weeks ago for GI problems. But now Kitty is dumping a lot of sneezes on the house. How long do I wait to take her back in for the sneezing?
We talk about this a lot, I feel like, with feline upper respiratory infections. A lot of times it's viral, so herpes virus, calicivirus, chlamydia. So it's in their system forever, especially if it was a cat from the Humane Society. So when they get stressed or when they get sick, it'll come out, kind of like a cold sore. My guess, if that cat's been sick, it's probably showing some respiratory symptoms from that virus that's latent in the cat.
Okay.
But if it's mucousy, if it's green, yellow, get that cat checked out.
Right on. The herpes and the chlamydia, man, it runs wild in the cat.
It does.
The cat kingdom.
I didn't realize, or excuse me, this is the first time we've ever had someone ask a question about someone else's pet. This person said they're a housekeeper, and when they go to this particular house, the rescue poodle the woman adopted won't stop barking at them. Any ideas on what I can do? I've never had this problem before.
Yeah, it sounds like that dog might need drugs. There's something to do with the dynamic there. If the dog is afraid of people in the house or is resource guarding or protecting the home. I mean, it could be separation anxiety from the owner. It could be a handful of things. I'd consider a behaviorist in that situation.
I wonder how I guess you just tell the homeowner, listen, we got an issue.
Yeah, I can't imagine watching that dog and being barked at all the time.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
Got another couple of cats here. We're talking with Dr. Andrea Johnson from Gurman Animal Hospital. If you have a question about your pet, it's 651-989-9393. We got a couple more cats here who won't drink water unless it's moving.
They're so bougie.
They are.
Unless it's coming out of a faucet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. They won't drink any. I had a cat that effing loved it when you'd turn on the faucet.
My cat won't drink water out of like her own bowl. It has to be like a kitchen bowl, fresh tap water all the way to the top.
And you can get those bubblers.
Yeah, you can get the water fountains, the bubblers.
Yeah.
Yeah, cats are goofy like that.
He even liked to just dip his noggin right under the faucet and take a little shower.
That's so cute.
Yeah. He dug the vibe. He dug the vibe of the running water.
It's a high water bill. Keeping it on all the time.
Yeah.
Dumbass Welder Jesus has a 13-year-old orange boy cat. Got a limp on his front left foot. Don't know why. Some days worse than others. Is that arthritis or something else? He's had it about 6 months.
I mean, you got to get the cat checked out, but arthritis is incredibly underdiagnosed in cats because they're so agile that a lot of times they can hide it until they can't anymore. There's a new injection out on the market called Silencia, which is an arthritis injection for cats. You can give once a month. It works amazing because we're limited in what we can give cats for like doggy and cat anti-inflammatories. So, yeah.
A lot of cats in our listening audience.
Love it.
Good morning to all the cats. And Nuffy, too, the dog who's afraid of fireworks. Another question about a cat. A Siamese Mancoon mix appears to be having seizures. He'll lay down and start twitching and drooling. It lasts about 60 seconds, but it can happen back to back. What's the story here, Dr. Andrea?
Does he say how old the cat is?
No, he does not.
If it was an older cat, I would worry there's something else going on in the brain. If it's an outdoor cat, cats can get, and dogs can get cuterebras. So it's basically a fly maggot that embeds into the skin and the brain and can migrate. It's really fascinating because they come out a hole.
Tell me more about this maggot. It comes out of a hole?
Yeah, so when we see a hole or a wound, I'll put like Vaseline over it and it suffocates the maggot so it pops out through the hole. And then you pull it out through the hole.
God dang.
That's a horror movie right there.
It's called a cuterebra. So if I have an outdoor cat with neurologic symptoms, I do worry about it.
Look for holes in this cat.
Look it up on YouTube. It's pretty fun to watch.
I don't want to.
I'm not doing all right.
You don't think of things like that when you're a kid and you think, I want to be a vet someday and play with dogs and puppies and kitties.
Vaseline over the hole. It suffocates the maggot. So next thing you know, a maggot shoots out of the hole gasping for air.
It starts coming out through the hole and you grab like a forceps and just...
You ever prank any other vets and put it on their salad or anything like that?
It's disgusting. Nobody wants to eat that.
Put it
Get
in
a
their
super
shirt
tiny
pocket.
mallet and play whack-a-mole as it comes out. Steelers fan Jesus, is it possible for dogs to get brain freeze? I gave my half Chihuahua, half Jack Russell a frozen doggy ice cream, and he shook quite a bit after eating it. He ate it. He said he ate it super fast.
Yeah,
those dogs.
they can. I mean, they can have like a vasovagal response with something really cold and then vomit
that's the
or
worst.
kind of, yes, absolutely.
You want to have laughs, wait till your dog eats a bee.
Oh, that's so sad.
They kind of, for a second, they're like, wait a minute. Did I just eat a bee? You know what I mean? And then they do the head shake thing. It's terrible. Finally here, because we got to take a break here in a minute, but keep sending in your questions. A dog who gets car sick. What's it say? Is this something that you think will go away once it builds up a tolerance to car rides? Is there something I can give her to make her less likely to get sick?
Yeah. I mean, if it's a puppy, a lot of times they outgrow it. But if it's an older dog and they just have that vestibular system that's off, you can get like Dramamine or Meclizine at the local pharmacy and give it. A lot of times we'll do like anti-vomiting medication that it's prescribed by the vet.
Is there a chance that it really isn't motion sickness and it's just excitement?
So sometimes it's hard to differentiate between the two. Yeah. I'd put the dog in a confined area or use a seatbelt so it's not running all over the car either.
Oh, that text came in from Love in the First Degree. Jesus. If you know the old Alabama song, you'll be singing it in your head for the rest of the day.
Can I hump your leg for 15 uninterrupted seconds?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dr. Andrea, brought to you by Daisy Carpet Cleaning. We've got more questions, don't we, Cubby?
Quite a few more questions. Well, it's always packed. It's always packed anytime you come in here.
What do you think, Andrea? You want another round?
I love it.
Guinea pig.
It's like speed dating.
Guinea pigs.
We got a guinea pig here.
Oh, man.
I love those little guys.
San Diego Chargers, Jesus, his kid dropped off a guinea pig for the summer. And he says, if you get bit by this rodent, should you get a rabies shot?
No. Unless that rodent has been outside fighting with wild animals. But no, I don't know much about guinea pigs. I know that they get mammary cancer, breast cancer.
Really?
Yeah, but I would be worried about other oral bacteria. So I'd probably consider antibiotics if it drew blood more than anything, and maybe a tetanus shot.
I only know one thing about guinea pigs. Get them off the pool table.
Oh, man, don't.
That's a bad story.
A terrible accident.
Where do you find those, like, in the wild?
Get them off the pool table.
Because those have to exist, like, in the wild, right? Could you imagine, like, walking through a jungle
Canada.
or something?
They're all over
Here
Canada.
comes a bunch of guinea pigs.
In Uptown that served, you could call ahead and order guinea pig.
No.
What? No way.
Was it Chino Latino?
Oh,
in
yeah, that's
Uptown?
right. They did
You
that.
could order it ahead of time and eat it.
Oh.
Like an appetizer?
I think they're like a New Zealand, Australian.
Oh, I thought they were like a South American.
I don't know much. They might be. I don't know much about guinea pigs.
Is it possible?
By the way, I love that you compared this segment to speed dating.
Yes, that was good.
You just keep meeting new people just briefly. Here's
Short
what's
little
wrong with
stints.
me. Here's what's wrong with me. Here's what's wrong with me.
It'd be weird if there weren't any guinea pigs in like New Guinea or someplace like that. I wonder.
Yeah.
It's got
There you go.
Somehow.
I don't know. I never made that connection because I'm a friggin' idiot. They're probably in New Guinea, aren't they, Josh?
Maybe.
This next question for Dr. Andrea Johnston, I kind of feel a little uncomfortable even asking. We have a 3-year-old border collie named Gigi.
Cute.
Right. We've tried to mate her several times, but she gets the fangs out and goes for blood. And then the dogs are afraid to get some, but they want to breed this dog. This is kind of uncomfortable.
Oh gosh, no.
You know what I
hear all
mean?
this stuff all the time.
Oh, I don't. Maybe just leave Gigi alone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question, she has to be standing for the male. She has to be ready for it and welcoming it.
Yes.
If that dog won't stand for that male, then I would consider AI. So you can collect semen from the male and then actually just use a catheter and insert it into the female.
They really want to breed Gigi.
So that's probably the way to do it, unless she's breeding it with the same male and they just aren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah, I think she's gone through a few boyfriends and it's not working.
Yeah, and then I would make sure she's actually in heat before she starts breeding them. But
Okay.
she might just be rejecting the male, and you might have to do it artificially.
And, before you think these people are, a little weird or something, they want to teach their children about birth and whatnot. They think it'd be a nice life lesson. Well, look at Gigi. She's a mommy. That you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to take the darkness out of this that I probably introduced to the scene in the first place. But Gigi, she's just not.
It's not her thing.
These are some ugly some bitches maybe that are.
What do you think? Like some. What do they say? Oysters, maybe some candles, romantic music.
I don't think you can seduce that dog.
You can't?
Definitely not.
Not with that attitude.
IT miracle worker Jesus got a pug named Gizmo. Unfortunately, Gizmo burned his pads during the extreme heat going outside.
Did he
Getting
step
better.
Oh, no.
But walking up and down stairs still bothers him. What do you recommend?
Man, he burned up his damn
Yeah,
pads.
that's rough. You can do something called paw butter. You can buy it on Amazon. Put it on the paws just to cover and protect them. It's like a second skin.
We've got nose butter for one of our dogs.
Kind of the same thing.
Same deal, huh?
And then you could get booties for that little guy.
It's fun. Even when they don't like him, Josh, when they try to shake him off, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they
When they-
freeze.
They just stand there and look at you like, what did you just do?
Oh, that's cute.
Is it bad, Dr. Andrea, that my golden retriever drinks his water very aggressively? This individual heard that can be really bad for a dog's stomach.
No, I mean, sometimes if they drink water too fast or eat too fast, they'll, scarf and barf,
Cough
like we
it up,
talked about. No, some dogs are just messy drinkers.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This individual, I think, is afraid because don't Goldens have a tendency to have that stomach?
The twist?
Yes.
The GDB?
Oh, like Marley and me. Yep.
I mean, so you're not supposed to let your dog run 30 minutes before or after eating.
Oh, okay.
You could elevate the water bowl. That can help from it swallowing too much air because that's the theory. It's breathing in too much air.
Oh, before as well. I didn't know it was before, too.
It's like taking in that air.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa has a 7-year-old female Australian Shepherd Bulldog Pit Bull mix.
My God.
Yeah. A little everything.
Yeah.
Not spayed yet. What is your input on getting her spayed at this point?
Get her spayed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get her spayed?
So the risk is pyometra. So you would not believe this, but they get an infection in their uterus where it's filled like chalk block full of pus. So it's fatal to them if it's not treated or emergently removed. So get the uterus out before that's a problem because it's yucky.
Pus and maggots.
Yeah, you deal with some stuff.
Yeah,
we were talking about poor Gizmo who burned his pads up during the hot weather. Ashley, I wish you have another baby shower, will you, real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So I can present you with some more gifts because you have, 3 dogs in the house?
Yes.
One of our listeners says you can go out and buy dog Crocs.
What?
Now, you hate Crocs, but what about dog Crocs?
I don't know. It depends what dog I'm putting them on. I'm not putting on the cool one.
What about your baby? Would you let your baby... No.
Wow.
No Crocs.
How could you deny your dog's dog Crocs?
That is tempting.
Of course it is.
But no, only the lamest one can wear them.
I think my dogs would eat dog Crocs.
How do they wear them? How do they stay on?
I don't know. I've just been given a couple of messages.
Wow.
About
I got to look these up.
A little kitty chipped her tooth. She hit the ground jumping from a high place.
Oh, no.
Any concerns of infection or...
Yeah. I mean, if it's a kitten, truly a kitten, that baby tooth should fall out and not be a problem.
It sounds like it's a full-grown
Oh,
cat.
yeah. Get it checked out because if there's pulp exposure, there will be an abscess eventually. It's probably painful, too.
That's painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. She jumped up and jumped down, and she landed on her face. And
man.
Yeah.
Another tooth question. A vet wants to sedate and clean my dog's teeth due to gingivitis. Is there anything I can do because it's expensive to have the vet do it?
Yeah, I get that question a lot.
So expensive.
So it's just like you and I, we go to the dentist every couple, months or every 6 months, a couple times a year. You can brush your dog's teeth, but it's not going to get rid of what's already on there. So unfortunately, you got to scale all that tartar off. And then to prevent it, you can use those dental chews that we've talked about and brush the dog's teeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brush a brush.
Yep.
Dog Crocs are adorable, by the way.
These look ridiculous.
You looked them up?
Yeah. I'm looking at a lab service dog wearing Crocs, these dog Crocs, and he doesn't want to wear those.
Do they kind of snap around his little ankles?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the little booties, like they tighten at the top. But yeah, they've got the holes like the Crocs do, and
So
this one even's got the little jewels you can buy for the
I was
Crocs.
just going to ask if they had those accessories.
He doesn't look happy.
Sure they do.
You're going to buy some dog Crocs or what?
I don't think so. Our dog would never wear these.
No.
But this one I'm looking at, they do have a catchy little slogan. Go from sploot mode to sport mode.
That's pretty cute.
There's nothing better when your dog will sploot.
Yeah, I love a good sploot.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, yeah? I bet your dogs do it. That's where they lay on their belly and their legs are straight
Splay
behind
out.
them.
Like a frog.
Like a frog,
that's called
yeah.
sploot.
That's a sploot.
Never heard
It's not
that.
the medical term, but
Your dog's probably sploot because they got those big, long legs and giant Johnsons. They probably have to sploot now.
Yeah, that part's not cool.
Dr. Andrea, I think this one goes into the books as your greatest performance ever.
I love it.
I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and speed dating. What a great way to put it.
It's fun.
Oh, man.
I know you're busy. We won't be able to see you on the boat tomorrow night, but one of these days we'd love to get you on.
I'd love it sometime.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have fun.
Of course.
Couple early birthday shout-outs for folks where today's their Friday. A happy Sunday birthday to the smoking hot Brenda from your husband. I'll always walk with Elias Jesus. Another Sunday birthday shout-out, this time to Brandon. Not a morning guy, Jesus. He's got a birthday on July 5th. Hope it's a great one. And happy birthday to Reed, turning the big 06 today from dad of two monsters, Jesus. Have a great Thursday.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.